Hey there, I'm Eternal, and I'm an object show fan that has barely watched any object shows. We have to fix that. Let's play Object Catchup. Hello and welcome into Object Catchup, the series where we discuss object show episodes right after watching them. Whether they're new or old, famous or unknown, it doesn't matter. We will get to it all. Now, for today, we have at least one request show that we're going to watch, which is, yet again, extremely old request. At this point, it's multiple weeks old. That's kind of just how it is around these parts. And this time, I left it because it was quite a big one. Because we're going to be doing Battle for Magical Hotel, or BFMH, recommended by Sunny Milk. However, the show is created by KuyaRAdventures, who is a YouTube creator with 842 subscribers. And BFMH is interesting because it has 28 total episodes, meaning that there's a lot of them that we have to talk about. They're not very long, however, none of them, so hopefully we should be capable of covering it. But yeah, it's time to just lock in and get onto it. I don't have many expectations. I do see quite a lot of Touhou characters on these thumbnails, so I don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to start off here with episode 1 of BFMH, titled The Greatest Show Ever, released 2 years ago. Let me check the specific date. On June 23rd, 2023. Alright, let's start. Alright, that is the first episode of BFMH. So what a combination of things that this is. So we have ourselves a flip-a-clip show, inherently. In terms of animation quality, I mean, it's okay. You'll get it, but it doesn't dare too much with a lot of things. I mean, a lot of characters are just kind of they're not drawn, they're just kind of the asset themselves, at least for any character that's not an object character. But at least the object character, they do have some semblance of movement, but they don't tend to have a lot of limb movement. I don't think I've saw anybody walk, for example, but in general they're there. But yeah, so we have apparently a show where 4 wants to host a show alongside a co-host, which is alongside co-host X, an assistant announcer. Okay, it's a battle for the magical hotel. Okay, that is here. And then we end up having all of our competitors, because we end up having we end up having an interesting combination of medias for the show. So let's see, what are our teams? Hold on. So we have the Holy Quintet. Okay, so the Holy Quintet, that's the first team. I believe these are the people from this one show. Let me check. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's called Madoka Magica. If I'm not mistaken, that is indeed what the show is called. This is an anime. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't watch animes, so I don't really know what exactly happens here. The story follows a group of middle school girls. Okay, cool. Then we have the second team. What the hell is the second team? It was called the Wings of Magius. These people, I don't know where these ones are from. Gonna be fully honest. Don't recognize them to start. Who are these? Yeah, no, don't recognize them to start. And then we end up having the Letter Gang, or the Magia Record Gang. I don't know. Those are 2 different teams. Yeah, don't know who these are either. I mean, the Letter Gang. Okay, well, I'm presuming the Letter Gang is the letters from that one series that I don't remember the name as well. You call that Shape something. Was it called just Shape World? I feel like it might have just been called Shape World. It's just me kind of trying to remember what the hell is going on, right? Because there was a lot, right? Are you called Shape World? No, Shape was a different thing. Shape was that one object show that's bad. That's like a meme. Shit, what's the thing called? Oh, damn. I'm annoyed I can't remember what it is. See, because it'd be really useful to know, what? Let me. I'm really trying to figure this out because I want to know, because because like if I don't know, it'll be bad for the entire rest of the series. I'm quickly trying to figure this out. Alphabet Lore. Yes, Alphabet Lore. That's what it's called. Yes, Alphabet Lore. I believe those are where the other fellas are from. Okay, I found it. But yeah, those are kind of the combination, outside of course the BFDI characters, which there's a couple of them. But yeah, that's kind of the interesting combo that gets made. For nearly everybody, at least especially the BFDI characters, you'll notice that we're using the AI voice filters for them to do their lines, which is a thing that you can do. Personally, as I say, I don't recommend it, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, using AI voice filters tends to, you know, like at the end of the day, it demerits a little bit from actual voice acting that people do and everything, right? However, look, at the end of the day, it's extremely normalized, and I don't believe that, I don't remember anybody from the BFI casting, like, being so vehemently against that being done, because that's been a thing for a while. So I think, like, it's fine. I don't recommend it, but it's okay, right? I don't know if the characters from the other shows are with AI voice filters or just generic voices. But yes, the challenge is to get baskets. A couple of fellas, they get the baskets. And we end up at that, the team. What team is up for elimination? Oh yeah, the weird one. The team with the question marks at the end of it is up for elimination. Again, what a combination of people that you can vote for. It's interesting. I would really like to know the names of these characters, because I feel like we're banking a lot on the viewers knowing specifically this combination of 4 things. You know, like I feel like, and it's like, yo, I get that, but like I don't know. You know, I don't know these people. You know, like you gotta give me a little bit of a briefing here, like, yeah, because the problem is I don't even know what this like I don't even know like what show this is. I can't even look it up, you know, because I know one of them is Madoka Magic. What's the other one? Because it's definitely a different show. Is it a different show? How many characters in Madoka Magic? You know, I don't. You know, maybe it's not. Maybe they're all from Madoka Magic. No, I don't know it. Are they? Dude, I'm just having a global debate here. But yeah, either way, alongside the audio quality, you'll notice that every single part of the audio is not grabbed. It's not a recorded prop. Like, it's recorded. It's not downloaded. So that means that music, you can see that they're very clearly being recorded off of a speaker. You can hear the phone moving. Same thing goes for all the AI voice lines, right, and everything. They're all recorded rather than downloaded. Which, like, bro, we gotta do like a Internet 101 class, bro. Like, come on. How do people not know about YTMP3 downloader? Okay, close the ad, works every time. I don't know what we're doing out here. Come on, bro. It gives you it perfectly. You can do it on the phone. Don't just close the ad. It's fine. Yeah, no, like, we gotta give these people a briefing on the internet, bro. Okay, alright. Anyways, let's see what goes on in BFMH 2, which is titled Sculpturing in the Clouds. Go. Alright, that is BFMH2, Sculpturing in the Clouds. So we have ourselves another episode. Look, it's gonna take a while for me to get used to this, because this is a wacky situation. Like, I don't know what's going on half the time. Dude, I'm sorry, 28 episodes of this? This is gonna be complicated, I'm not gonna lie. Because, like, it's kind of hard to follow, you know? Because it's kind of, well, first of all, like, the audio is not very clear, because AI voices are saying it. And, like, it's kind of muffled because it's a recording, and then there's music that's too loud, right? So that's kind of muffled. Plus, it's just kind of in general a little bit complicated because I don't really know what is going on. But I'm sorry, like, you know what happens in the middle of this episode? This girl, okay, I know I'm saying this girl as if not every character is a girl, but like, this character, because hey speaker, I have sad news for you. Leafy and Fiery and Coiny and 4 are leaving to find Dream Island. So then it's like, we're in a final 36, so let's host the second contest. But then Coiny is suddenly here, by the way, in the next shot, being like, yo, but what is the second contest? And then the announcer it says the contest, and then 4 is back anyways from the freaking thing. Okay, cool. And then they end up starting the contest anyway, the same contest that the announcer just invented. So it's like, I'm sorry, what was the point of that? Like, it's like, oh no, they left. What are we gonna do now? I don't know. He came back in 3 seconds. Like, what? I don't know. But anyways, they go in and they sculpture, right? They do sculptures because of course they do. As usual, I've already dissed sculpting challenges enough. I do not like sculpting challenges very much because they are very kind of like biased for no reason. You know, they're very like, yo, why is it that this random character can sculpt but not this random character can sculpt? Because like the amount of knowledge that we have where characters are capable of making sculptures is kind of not minimal, you know. Like I feel like I've not, majority of times when I see a character, I don't ask can they sculpt, you know. Like it's kind of like it's a random skill that we add onto them that nobody would realistically have, right? So that's why I don't like sculpting challenges, because it gives people skills that they wouldn't ever have normally. They just mysteriously seem to have it for the sake of being capable of doing the challenge, right? So it's like purely a writing thing. But yes, the first one that gets rated a 10 out of 10, BFDI's winner. To be fair, this is a cool sculpture. I like it, holding up Dream Island in their hand. So they get a 10 out of 10. Second one is Best Friends, created by this fella, along with the other fella, who, if I'm not mistaken, were part of the first episode. Does alphabet lore actually have the Cyrillic alphabet in it? I didn't know that. I don't know anything about alphabet lore. I'm gonna be absolutely for real. Like the amount of things that I know about the alphabet lore, not a lot of it. Let me just for real. Like, I don't know. Like, what happens in alphabet lore? Like, really? Like, hold on. Alphabet lore. Does it side characters, supporting characters? I mean that, but these aren't like the Russian alphabet isn't here. Alphabet lore series. Hold on. I'm trying to clock it. Well, no. What? How does this happen? Okay, whatever. I don't know, but yes, they got an 8 out of 10. Then we end up having some fellas which make a heart that was dangling off a thing, and then it falls off and breaks, so that's not great. And then finally we get a crab. That's okay, so it gets a 9 out of 10 for being okay. Jesus Christ, a bit excessive, therefore. But yes, that means that, what team loses? Hold on. Mizuki Billet team. Whatever 4 said, is up for elimination. So we have, you can vote for either these people or Coiny. I know, right? Dude, these are, I'm sorry, it is like, I know that like it's kind of the stereotype to say it, but like it's hard for me to be able to distinguish these people without knowing them, you know. Like it's different, like even they have different color schemes. Anyways, it's kind of complicated, you know, especially when there's multiple teams. Even this is gonna be complicated, right? But yeah, at the end of the episode, the letter R seems to wake up. They're in the sky. They have some glowy eye. I don't think it's good to wake up the letter R. However, I don't know what happens if you wake up the letter R. I guess we're gonna have to discover that in due time. But yeah, all right. Well, it will wash a random thing in the middle, but we're not gonna talk about it because we're going straight to episode 3 of BFMH, which is titled "Return of the Game." Okay, go. Alright, that is episode 3 of BFMH. So we could keep going. So 4 is gone. 4 is gone. X is gone. The announcer is gone. Everybody that you knew is gone. From the hosting class. So we just simply call up somebody else to host it. And you know who arrives? Friggin' Reimu. From Touhou, right? Reimu, is that your name? Yes, Reimu Haruke. Who is a character who exists in Touhou. If you want to know, my experience with Touhou is I played it like one time, and I don't know anything about the characters or the lore in it, and I know Unowen Was Her is a pretty good song, but other than that, my knowledge is pretty low. I feel that this show is firmly outside of the media bubble that I follow. I'm gonna be absolutely for real. But yes, they end up hosting it, and they get 301 votes, and I was wondering, no, you didn't get 301 votes. The last video got like 300 views, and no way everybody voted. So I was trying to figure out how the fuck did we get to this number, and I realized the votes are cast via community polls, and the number of votes is they made correspond to the fucking percentage that you get, which is insanity. So no, freaking who got 9 votes? Like freaking. Rena got 9 votes, right? Rena didn't get 9 votes. Rena got 9% of that voting, which, by the way, is obviously bullshit, because, by the way, if you're wondering, then wouldn't it be 100 votes? No, it's 300, because remember, it has to split into 3 polls, because there can only be 4 people per poll, which means that if somebody is more unpopular in one of the polls, but not the other 2, right, then that means that character is going to get unfairly a way higher percentage, right? Which means that the way higher vote count than usual. And I'm trying to think, are we just do we not know about percentages here, or are we just lying because it's fun? Because there's no way that we actually are no, you got 9 votes. No way, right? Surely that says 33%. 33%. It's not 33 votes. Okay, come on. We know that, right? Surely. Also, what's going on with these screenshots? Look at these screenshots, bro. Look at the fucking quality of them. They fucking switch. They go from 144p to nothing. Anyways, the eliminated character ends up being Sana Futaba with 64% of whatever poll it was that they got unlucky on. And they end up dipping out and have been eliminated. So now we're down to the final 41. Why? That number has gone up. Yes, you will notice, because apparently Teardrop got to join the show. Good job. And of course, Teardrop gets to choose 2 teams to join. You know what? Look, Teardrop is goated, so maybe Teardrop should get that much power in a show. However, I don't know about this one. Teardrop just gets to pick 2 teams. That she chose the 2 teams that can join. She did that. Teardrop did that. Okay, cool. So the teams that join are Team 9 from something. I don't know. I think this is also Touhou people, or are they? I think Team 9 is Touhou people. And then there is the double dealing character. No, the double dealing crew. Don't know who that is. Just to be straight up, don't know who these people are. One of them is a mermaid. I don't know. But then we end up having ourselves the briefing here of the team, which is actually kind of useful. So that way we know kind of who's on what team. So we have the Holy Quintet, which is the freaking Madoka people. By the way, Holy Quintet, but there's 6 people. But yeah, the Holy Quintet, and then there's Fiery and Leafy. Then there's the Wings of Magius, who have those 5 people, and then 3 of the letters. Okay, then we have Mikazuki Villa. Okay, that's what you're called. Your team has 1 billion people, and then Coiny. There's the letter gang. There's 5 characters. Team 9, who is those Touhou people plus Teardrop, and then there is the double deadly Nep character, whatever it is, who doesn't have any BFDI people on them. They're just them. Challenges to get to the top of the Tokyo Tower. Everybody manages to invent goofy ways to get to the Tokyo Tower and get immortal immunity, whatever the fuck that means. And until the last few teams, which are the freaking Quintet and the Team 9, who can fly. So I guess flying is slow in this universe. But it turns out that Team 9 ends up being the team that loses, while everybody else. So they are up for elimination on their first go. Teardrop might get eliminated. I don't really know, because apparently we're using fucking community polls and taking the percentages as total vote counts, which is crazy. I don't even know what to say. The fans bullshit about this. It's how do you do that? Hold on. Because it's there's 6 people, but a poll can only have 4 options. So surely the poll with 2 people on it is just gonna fuck over the 2 people. It's so over. It's not even going to be fair. Not at all. It's not even going to be a little bit fair. It's going to be so bad. It's actually going to be terrifying. Nah, bro. What is this voting system? This voting system is hilarious, bro. Dude, this is a train wreck of a voting system. How? Whatever. Teardrop seems to be capable of talking in this universe, because they do say their name to the blue one, and and they do want to be friends. So yes, they officially get promoted to true Team 9 member. And yeah, episode 4: swimming or donating. Alright, that is BFMH 4, and I mean, dude, what the hell? This voting system is excruciating. What? Okay, first of all, hold on. Wait, what? This is insane. So we got 24 votes. No, you didn't get 24 votes. You got 200 by your voting system, because that's 100 plus 100. Like, it's just, what is this? This is so incredibly scum. So I don't know where the hell the number 24 arrives from. Or we just end up reading the votes in the same way. And it's so funny. It's so bad. Because, like, you see, it's a sum of the two of the things. However, the problem is that they're placed in 2 different polls. Which means that the fellas in the other poll, where there's only 2 of them, and they're being massively rigged against one of them. So you can clearly calculate what they're doing here, right? A, B, C, and D are in the same poll, so you see they don't get high percentages, 9, 36, but then you see E and F are in their own poll against just each other, so their percentages are obviously going to be skewed. So that's why Mystic is out with 77%, and you can tell because Teardrop has the other 23%. Like, it's so... But I'm telling you, if you put Misty up with these 4, they don't get that many percentage. Like, maybe they will still get the highs, don't get me wrong. However, like, I don't know. It's impossible. Dude, oh my god, bro. What is this system? What is this one? Oh my god. That is insane. By the way, shout out to the Cake and Steak intro. There's just like a PNG shaking back and forth. And shout out to the fella. It's not even a team. Shout out to the fellas playing cards who just have all queens on their deck. Like, can't even got a second playing card. But yeah, that is interesting. Anyways, the challenge is to retrieve the donation box, Raymond's donation box, so that it's in a pool. So yeah, the first person, there's 1 in the pool. If you fetch it, you're safe, and then it gets thrown back in, and the next thing gets to go. Interesting way to do it. But yeah, Teardrop gets it first, so Team 9 is safe. Then the letter F gets it, so the wings of Magius are safe. Then the letter 2 gets it, which means that the letter gang is safe. And then we end up having the last fella, the last team get it together, as the Double Dealing Guru and the Mikazuki Vila, which means that the Holy Quintet that was like, yo, Fiery, you should go, yeah, because that'd be smart, and then nobody else ever volunteered to go, end up being up for elimination. So, yeah, at least this is 8 characters, at least it'll make 2, polls of 4. It's still unfair because obviously one poll might have less liked contestants than the other poll. Like, it's still bullshit, just all like just extremely bullshit. However, at least it's like more reasonable, right? At least there's the same like number of competitors per round, right? Per person instead of the other thing. That's just insanity. Yeah, I mean that is something. All right, that is something. I do not have much to say about this. It is something impressive. Oh yeah, by the way, did I say that it's gonna be double elimination? Oh, it's gonna be double elimination. That's interesting. I wonder if they would eliminate the 2 people with the most or the people with the most from each poll. That would be an interesting, I guess, division that you can make. Again, it'd be bullshit, but it could be made. My prediction is going to make the 2 overall. However, they're going to end up that it's the top person from each poll, right? I think that would just make sense. Okie dokie. So, next up, we have BFMH 5, which is titled Bowling Tanks and Joiners 2. Okay, here goes. Alright, that is episode 5 of BFMH. No, I mean, like, this show is a perfect show for, like, rage baiting a analyzer like me, because like I nitpick shit, right? I like at the end of the day, a lot of what this series is just nitpicking, and there's so much to nitpick about this show, right? Because there's so many things that feel like you would just think about them, but you don't. Like you would just we're making episodes, not realizing that maybe putting red text on top of the red background clothing of the character, not having the text of any type of outline to it. So the text in the bottom just says it's time for Shin, let's go, because it gets covered up by Raymond's fucking clothes. It doesn't make sense. And then somehow we don't realize that the Flipper Clip logo gets exported every time. So obviously don't put the text at the bottom left of the screen, otherwise the Flipper Clip logo will cover over it. We don't think of these things somehow. I don't know. It's like crazy. And also, I still don't know what this means. Hold on. You got to 17 and 175 votes. What does that mean now? Like, what? And again, you still didn't get 175 votes. Like, you need, like, what? Got 200. Because that's 2 polls. Like, what? Or, like, yeah, it has to be. There's no way. I didn't do the math right now. But, like, that doesn't, like, you would have gotten 200. If it's 2 polls, like, 100% on each poll is 200. Right? Whatever, bro. Like, this is insanity. I don't know how. This is a voting system and a half, bro. Like, this is something. But yes, Fiery got eliminated alongside Homura Akemi, which is interesting. I feel like it's kind of object show characters, in my opinion, probably definitely disadvantaged here, because there's so few of them at the end of the day, right? Like, it's kind of like they make up like maybe like 15% of the total, right? Which means that they're kind of I think a little bit disadvantaged, because kind of weird thing weird thing about shows, I do feel like shows tend to vote out minorities in the sense of like not in the way you're thinking, but kind of like, a human in BFDI is more likely to get eliminated, right? Kind of like Dora or David, they're not likely to stay very long, right? That goes for like non-objects in most series, right? They're kind of struggling as well. I remember stuff like Anna's, and where it was like, oh, the character they got up first. It's just the character that didn't have a proper asset, right? So they look different, so they look lazier, right? And I think that applies here a little bit as well with the object show characters, when like this cast is so unbelievably filled with these people that it ends up kind of being a little bit complicated. Challenges to fill up your tanks with plastic balls. The team with Corny in it. Don't remember what you were called. Ended up getting the freaking token. What token were you called? You got a behavior token. Do we know what a behavior token is? You thought. No, we don't. And then the team that runs out and loses ends up being the double deal included, because they ran out of balls. So they will have contestant voting for the next episode, because we have a debut in this episode. We end up having a lot of characters from a lot of random things. Who's joining? I don't know. It's the fucking community polls that are going to decide anyway. Like, I don't know. How many polls is this? 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 4 polls. So apparently, I'm telling you, I swear to God, bro. If you go like, oh, it's a record 400 votes, I'm about to go insane. Alright, let's go to episode 6 of BFMH. Okay, it's titled Musical Noted Are Voted. Alright, that is episode 6 of BFMH, and I'm gonna be fully for real here. I'm gonna be like omega honest here, right? Because, I like to be honest around here. I don't like to say wrong things. This is rough to watch right now. I mean, like, I'm sure that there's, like, the entertainment value if you know, right? Like, because I feel like I'm kind of watching this kind of very clueless. Right? I'm very clueless of everything. However, like, doing this, I'm already going, like, with 28 episodes. This one, I maybe was not mentally prepared for this show. No, not a lie. But yes, we have a musical episode. Okay, so what is going on? So we have ourselves the first, which is an alphabet song. I don't know what song this is. I don't know from what it is. However, yes, we sing it. Why? I don't fucking know. I don't, like, there's no reason, actually. I mean, I would say, oh, I don't know. You could be there for any reason. No, I do know. It's because there wasn't a reason. There's never a reason. The reason is we felt like it. You know, like, it's kind of like, a bro moment, you know. But yeah, because half of these letters aren't even in the show. You know, there's no reason for this to be here. But yes, after the freaking full-on 1.5 minute musical ploy, we end up entering the elimination ceremony with our epic intro, where we indeed do have freaking. Well, first of all, we have the elimination. So the two people that are eliminated, according to the contestants, apparently, are two people. I don't remember what they're called. What's your name? Shinmiyumaru. Okay, so that's one of them. And then another one also got eliminated, but I don't remember who that is. Wakasagihime, I think. Yes, those two got eliminated. Goodbye. And then we end up having our rejoin with the Nick Jr. cast, even though a lot of them are not even Nick Jr. cast. So we apparently got 33 and 405 votes. What does? Why are those two separated numbers? What does that mean? 33 and 405. Just say 437 or something. Like, you don't need. And yet again, I told you it was going to be 400 because it's 4 polls. Dude, percentages. You don't know about percentages. Fun fact. Okay, imagine this. 3 people. Okay, 3 votes. 2 for one thing, other for the other. That makes 66% and 33%. That's not 66 people voting. Oh my god, bro. Okay, whatever. The person that joins the show, with how much? With what percentage? With 78%. So they dominated what the poll that they were in. Okay, because they had the freaking people who got 0 votes on it. And again, realistically, it was probably just the poll that had the least amount of votes on it as well. Was Yumi Car. So with 78%, they join. So good job. They join the Wheels of Magius, which is it wasn't this already like the biggest team. They did not need another contestant. Put them on Alphabet Lord. In Alphabet Lord, like 2 people on it. But okay, we then ourselves have the challenge, which ends up being none other than a singing competition. You get to sing a song. If it's good, you'll do it. Well, they explained this challenge wrong. Of course they do. So the actual way that the challenge works is that basically, you know, the best, like the worst song, the team that performs the worst is up for Elam, right? That's pretty much what happens. Every team performs, the worst team is up for Elam. They do the other way around in the explanation, where they say the challenge is to sing the best song. The first team to make the best song will win. What? What is that sentence now? The first team to make the best song? Well, you don't. Well, like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you see the problem with that sentence? Like, how is making the best song? Because to make the best song, you need to see everybody's song. So what do you mean the first team to make the best song? Is it going to be a second team to make the best? You know, it's kind of weird. But okay, the teams sing songs. As usual, it's kind of complicated to judge. Well, the quality is a little off, of course, on the actual audio itself. Sometimes some additions get made to the tracks based on the characters. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty easy animation for them to do. At the end of the day, they literally just grab the characters and go like, "Yo, I'm gonna make the image go back and forth. That way, it looks like the dance, even though they're not really." So yeah, it turns out that some teams are solid. Some musical tracks, again, they go on for way longer than they have any right to. Like, really, like this one with Leafy, dude, this one lasts a minute and a half. I don't need a minute and 20. to understand this. I needed 12 seconds, okay? And then we ended up having the Coiny song. This one lasted like 5 seconds. And then we have the last team who sings a song to Reimu or something. But yeah, they do pretty bad. I think it's inspired off the purple face thing. Then we end up having the same shenanigans with the votes. So that team ends up being up for elimination. The freaking, what are they called? Hold on. I think it was the pin comment. The double dealing crew. Okay, these people. But yeah, there's 6 people up for them, so there is going to be bias. However, apparently it's a vote to save, which is interesting because you see a vote to save and then does the opposite effect of like, well, I mean, it probably still screws over somebody. I don't know. Gonna be for real, I don't know what happens in this system. Like, I've never had to think about a system like this where, like, no, that's genuinely incredible. Like, that's incredible. Like, I've generally not seen it. Like, I've been trying to think, like, yo, is there a merit to having a system with percentages? It's like, maybe, but no. Because the only way that it would make sense if it was one poll, and then the one poll, then the highest percentage got eliminated. But at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter. Why? It doesn't matter because, like, then if we did the way I'm suggesting, then it would just be able to eliminate in the regular style. Right? Because at the end of the day, everything has a percentage. It's just that this one's bad because, like, it splits itself up into more than 100%. Right? Like, it doesn't generalize all the votes. It just takes the results from 2 different polls with 2 different people on it and takes that as the freaking thing, you know? And it's like, oh my god, like, what is going on? What is this? When, yeah, like, maybe it could be useful in, like, a points-based system, right? But like, you want to get the lowest number possible, so you don't only want to, like, not to be up for Elim, you also want to get the least amount of people to vote on you, right? And everything, like, something like that. But, like, it's just kind of bro, you know? Like, it's, at the end of the day, it's just kind of bro. It's kind of a bro moment. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, let's get the energy. It's episode 7 time. It's titled Clock Tower Cleaning Time. Here goes. Okay, let's go. Alright, that is episode 7 of BFMH. So, remember the time I said, yo, it's gonna be a vote to save, it's gonna be different. No, it's not. It's not. It's not a vote to save. It's not. They said that because they were trolling. I don't know why we said that. But either way, we end up having the cake at stake. We're gonna get 14 and 201 votes. I'm gonna crash out. I still don't know what the fuck that means. What is the 14? Hold on. No, because you know what's the reason I get confused? Because 14 and 201 is an interesting thing. But the thing is that, like, we just know that it's not that number because the way that they count it is fucking the thing. You know, like, it's just that we end up having, like, it's just the percentages, which means that it can't be 215 because, like, the 15 doesn't get counted. It's just 200, you know? Like, it's just the 201. Like, the other votes don't matter, right? Because they literally don't impact anything, right? Because there are 201 votes. That's it. Because, again, like, if you wonder why it's 201, not 200, because the way that YouTube polls work, by the way, is like it rounds up, which means that rounding up means that it's gonna give you an extra like, it just rounds, so, like, you might get an extra percentage or 2, right? In general, so, like, that's something. But we just end up having, it's end up having, like, a little bit of a situation. The 2 eliminated characters end up being Sekibanki and Yasuhashi. Goodbye. There are now less of them. The challenge ends up being to clean up the Big Ben, and they do that. However, everybody does it pretty okay. However, unfortunately, the alphabet guy, I don't know who you are, ends up being ends up screwing up because by cleaning it super fast, they end up actually putting skid marks on Big Ben, which ends up being a problem that you can't do. So the team of 1 million people on it is up for elimination. Okay, I'm curious how they're gonna do this because this is 9 people on this team. We're not having a poll with 1 person on it, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. But yeah, the other negative, I mean, the other big negative about having votes by community polls is just that, like, you'll know the results, right? Like, I could go check, you know, like it's a public community polls right there. I can check, and if you check that, oh no, we're getting eliminated, you can, form like, oh shit, we gotta get together and try to vote against, right? Like, it's having that knowledge allows you to rig it more by like changing your opinion based on what's currently happening when that really shouldn't be how things get done, right? Which is that kind of like that unfortunate situation. But yeah, no, this is still like, I know that I've spent pretty much majority of the time talking about this, but it's ludicrous. It is genuinely ludicrous. It is like a proper ludicrous system. I have no idea how the hell we got to this point. It's genuinely unbelievable. But alright, it's time for BFMH 8 and 9, the 2 episodes at the same time. It is titled The Abstracted Digital Circus. Here goes. Hello, so that is episode 8 and 9 of BFMH. So, yeah, okay, I think that I'm starting to clock, because I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay, so the thing that I mentioned the other time, right, about the episodes kind of being difficult, like, that ends up being difficult to watch. I don't even know if I can get it done today. The plan was to get it done today, but it's gonna be complicated, right? So I was like, yo, okay, what's going on, right? But I think I figured it out. It's because it's boring, not because it's like, I don't get it. It's boring because it's simply like, it does not understand the proper timings of things, right? Like, it doesn't understand that things that are on screen for 2 seconds should be, no, it doesn't understand that, like, things that should be on screen for 2 seconds are on screen for 15, right? Like, it keeps the same loops going. Like, you see at the beginning, right? Where the scene is just Raimi looking at a spindle spin, right? Like, this scene is 25 seconds long. I get it after 3. Like, and so if I get it after 4 seconds and it's 24 seconds, that means that, like, that scene overstays its welcome 5 times over. Like, you see what I mean? Why, like, and you're like, oh, it's not too much. Yes, it's not, but, like, you see, it starts to drag itself on, right? Quite a bit. So we have here our elimination, which, by the way, I still don't know how it works. Like, I have no idea. Because, like, hold on. It goes, like, Kane says of it. It was like, yo, you can vote for people in community tab to get out, but you get to vote to save someone. What? Like, do you? Because, again, I haven't seen, the percentages have been entirely accurate to the freaking vote counts as well. So far, I haven't seen any of that change. So, I don't really know. But yes, Rainbow has to go clean her shrine, so she dips, and then Kane comes in to host. They vote the elimination, with the freaking stupid percentage system, where the eliminated contestants end up being F and Mifuyu, who got top of the other thing. Yeah, with 50 and 57% respectively. So goodbye. F, you see, for example, F starts crashing out, right, and start unleashing tentacle things, okay? So, like, that starts at, what, 226, that keeps going until 255. That is 30 seconds of the same loop. Nothing changes. The audio is the same. The animation is the same. And nothing changes for 30 seconds. And again, it's like, it starts overall when one, it encounters the other, and then the other again, and then again, and then again, and then again. It starts to drag on, right? Yeah, that's the end of the 6th episode, because then they enter into that's the end of the 8th episode, sorry, and then we enter into the 9th episode. We're on the Digital Circus, and we do the challenge. The challenge, beat up Kaufmo, pretty much. That's like about it. We end up kind of beating up Kaufmo, and then if you successfully beat up Kaufmo, you're gonna be safe. Otherwise, you're not. So yeah, they end up doing that. We have the intro, by the way, playing twice. Look, me personally, in a compilation, I would prefer if there was only one intro, because I mean, of course, we compiled the episode. Okay, sure. That's fine. That makes sense. But yes, some teams do it. Team 9 ends up using the Teardrops Lasso that you have since when? another team ends up beating them up. We end up having a battle scene that goes on for about 10 seconds. Yeah, they battle on for quite a bit. I kind of started spacing out at this moment. But yeah, they end up spacing out, so they're safe. And then what else? The wings of whatever. The other team's also free to go. Then we have a team that just bounces them around with an umbrella that's safe to go, which means that the only team that doesn't manage to sufficiently beat them up in time is the Letter Gang. So the Letter Gang, who, you know, suffers from being the smallest team at only 5 members, it's going to presumably lose 2 of them here, so it's going to be interesting to see. They were pretty much never lost, but yeah, now it becomes complicated for them. Because, you know, like, what are they going to do? Like, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, I guess we will have to find out. And yeah, whoever loses this one specifically, I believe, gets sentenced to Digital Circus. Which is great. You know, they'll get to be in the Digital Circus forever. I find it really funny. Dude, sometimes the writing as well. Like, you can really tell that, like, it's not the best writing ever. It's like, you can see, Kane says a normal thing, right? Kane says, like, you will be eliminated. And then they proceed to throw in at the end of the sentence, in the Digital Circus. Okay. Bro, it's the greatest format ever. Yes, Kane, a perfectly accurate Kane here, right here. Say thing, and then in the Digital Circuit, right? You're going like, you know, today I ate spaghetti in the Digital Circuit. You know, it's like, what are we doing? Oh my god. Yeah, this is something. This is definitely something. In terms of what I currently think about the show, like, again, it's definitely a basis of quality, for sure. There's, like, there's not really a plot going on. There's just kind of challenges. Like, the only time that there's a plot happening is kind of with the hosts, but not much, to be honest. So yeah, it's kind of complicated. Like, yeah, random people get caught. It's random cameos. It's random shit. The voting system's weird. Like, this is very much so just kind of like, whoa. You know, this is very much so kind of like a broad scale of, like, what the hell is going on. Alright. But yeah, so that is something. Who do I think, who would win? Who would win a show like this? I know that the winner of this show gives me massive not somebody I know vibes. Like, the winner of the show would probably be currently, like, friggin', because if you think about it, would this show be over by now? It's got 28 episodes, and even, 40 contestants. We're eliminating 2 per episode. Like, we should be nearly done, right? Like, theoretically speaking. By like today. But yeah, the winner's definitely gonna be a character that I have no recollection of. I have no knowledge on it. I did like nothing for like 40 episodes. You just know. So yeah, I can't exactly predict it. Okay, let's go to episode 10. Episode 10 is titled Water Balloon Party Time, featuring Sace World Tour. Go. Alright, that is episode 10 of BFMH, 10 out of 28. We're getting there very slowly. So, yeah, I mean, it is an episode. So first, we end up having, yet again, a little bit of a song and dance here to start off the videos. Not sure why these are here. They're always here. They're always, like, I don't know why they're there. They don't actually benefit to any lore. Like, they don't do it. They're just there for the sake of being there. Like, I don't know why. But either way, Kane comes in and hosts the elimination where we have 15 and 25 and 200 votes. Because, of course, what... and then we end up 15, 25, and 185 votes, and the eliminated contestants end up being 2 and K, who K obviously was forcibly eliminated due to being the only person on the other poll. Like, that's just kind of what happens. And then 2 gets eliminated over on the first poll. So yeah, it's a show. The contest throw water balloons. It's fine as far as challenges go. This was one of the more logical ones, to be honest. I mean, you did have it. Oh, don't get splashed 3 times, and then like every team's sandcastle, and they're getting like 4 million balloons thrown at them. But you know, that's like a thing. It ends up that who got eliminated? What, I don't. I don't know who actually got eliminated, but either way, they don't, like, nobody gets eliminated anyways because they have a rejoin. because, you know. So yeah, we have ourselves a rejoin with every character that's been eliminated so far. I will say that I think the rejoin screens are pretty solid. You know, they all make a relatively solid. They make an interesting case for their character, to be fair though. So, yeah, and I do think that, look, the system for the current way that elimination work is terrible. It's so bad. However, even though it's really bad, it does, in a little bit of a weird way, work for this, because one of the big biases with rejoins is that it's always sort of biased towards the people that rejoin first, that got eliminated first. So by the way that this works, A through D are going to be 1, E through H are going to be 1, right? So that means that, like, we're kind of going to vote in a person from each stage of the game, right? Which is gonna be interesting. So just because you're the first out doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna have a big chance. Because if somebody in the later stage of the game had more pulling power against the fellows from the other stage, then it kind of makes for an interesting debate. You know, like it's cool. It's interesting. Possibility for sure. So it's like it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I have no idea what's going on in the freaking post-credits scene. I genuinely nothing. Hold on. Okay, you know what I want to talk about? You know what I want to talk about here? Let's talk about the logo. So, because we haven't talked about the logo for the show, but the logo for this show is really interesting. Because I don't know what the hell it is. Like, what is that? Like, battle... Yes, that says battle for Magical Hotel. But, like, okay, the battle is in some weird font. Okay, some space font that looks like, again, it looks like it's taken from a game. However, the thing about that game's logo is that it had a freaking background on it. Like it has like some blur on it, so it ends up crawl battling. 4 ends up just taking the letters from their, I guess, respective alphabet lore equivalents, so F, O, and R. However, wasn't there a super R that was like a character? I don't know. Magical, I believe, is taken from the Madoka Magica, because you see, yes, that's the word Magica. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's the word Magica from Madoka Magica. And then there's an L drawn to the side. You can tell that it's not the same because the lines aren't all perfectly even. To be fair, that's a pretty good recreation. I actually didn't notice that. And there's a hotel. So the T and the L are from alphabet lore. And then the H-O, I don't know what those are. I don't know from where those are. There's a little bit of a background on them. It's kind of like brownish thing. The HO is green. Yeah, I don't know what these are from, but it's interesting. But yeah, it makes for one logo, it makes for a logo and a half. I'm not gonna lie. It's interesting. It's okay. I just wanted to point out at least one time because I feel like there was like because you doing this is effort. At the end of the day, right? Like to make a logo like this, it's way easier to just take Arial font and go battle for Magical Hotel, right? However, there was a good amount of thinking put into making this mishmash of a logo. But hey, you know what? You know, if you think about it, if you really think about it, this show is a random mashup, a mishmash of shows. So of course, the logo should be a random mashup, mishmash of logos. It just makes sense. So you know what? Fair enough. Also, who is Sace World Tour? I didn't catch it. Did they do anything? What did they do? Oh, are they the ones? Oh wait, are they the ones from the other show that 2 and Fiery were up to? Or is that what they're doing? Oh, is that their show? Is that Sace World Tour? Oh, okay. That's interesting. No, it's sorry. It's just it's just that, like, it's weird when, like, you credit, like, this show does not credit anything. Like, it just yoinks characters from animes and shit and puts them in their own show. But so then when it actually does credit a show that it puts in, it's like, wait, hold on, you can do that? Hold on, wait, you do that? I didn't know that. Right? So yeah, that's something. Okay, BFMH 11 is titled "Don't Be Sad, Do Not Cry, Do Not Cry." Go. Alright, that is the 11th episode of BFMH. So, don't be sad, do not cry. Indeed, that's correct. But first, we have the rejoin thing, the rejoin voting, where we still played the elimination time theme. By the way, we didn't make a new one. We didn't. But like there wasn't even a gag about it. I thought as soon as they showed that, I was like, oh, they're gonna do a gag. I was like, wait, it's not elimination time, and then they're gonna, oh, it's actually rejoin time theme. But no, they don't do that. We do not have fun around here. So we end up having 299 and 34 votes, whatever the hell that means. And it turns out that the rejoining contestant getting the highest percentage is freaking this fella. Who are you called? I don't remember the name. It's too small on the script. One of the girls, okay, one of them rejoined. So it's time to make some of teams. So instead of making 4 teams of 8, as Kane suggests, the contestants decide that they're going to make 3 teams of 12. Now, is a team of 12 a big number? Yes, it's a big number. Should it be that big? No, yeah, no, it shouldn't. It absolutely shouldn't. I mean, like, just look at this Mikazuki bunch. I'm sorry. Look at all the people. How many people? This is an industrial quantity of people. Like, this is a full football team's worth of people. Like, it could, like, at this point, you can make 11v11 football for against the play, make the play FIFA. Like, what is it? Like, oh my god, this is so many people. It's and then the other team ended up being the Holy Quintet again, even though again they were never a quintet, but okay, now they're a Duzette. Like, yeah, that's interesting. Teardrop does get to meet Leafy in terms of like the BFDI fellas, and the last team ends up being Team 3 Threes, which I mean this is a team of 8. So wait, is it? No, it's a team of 7. Wait, what? Hold on. So it's 12, 12, and 7. Wait, no, it's not. Wait a minute. Wait, what? Hold on. Wait, how many contestants is that? Wait, hold on. 12, 12, and 12 would be 24, 38. I don't know how many contestants currently... No. Wait a minute. 36. Wait, I don't remember how many contestants the show. What? It doesn't... I don't care. Alright. The contest is the Try Not to Cry challenge. If you watch all of the sad videos without crying, your team's safe. However, the first team to have somebody cry, or at least a set of people cry, during it is there. So we get a couple of sad videos to play. We end up having the X video. I think the post-credit scene of BB28. I remember that vividly, dude. That, back then, like, that was right as I was about to dip from the OC. I was losing interest, but, like, that moment, I was like, because that's right before BFB starts having problems. So I remember that scene was, like, it definitely hit, you know? Like, I think for as much as post wasn't really my cup of tea, I think it wasn't a lot of people's cup of tea, right? And you kind of lost interest when like nearly everybody dipped, right? Which included all my favorite characters, right? But then it's like as soon as like that hit, that was like, yo, that hit. I got like mild goosebumps hearing it again. But yeah, we have a sad scene from Alphabet Lore. I think Euro dying. What is that? Yeah, it's like Euro dying. I don't know what happened to Euro there, but yeah, they die. And then eventually we end up having a video about kittens, you know. Don't leave a kitten lonely, otherwise a kitten won't have a mommy. And then it ends up that the Holy Quintet again ends up two of the people there and are crying, you know, because it's just kittens, you know. So that means that everybody's up for elimination. Who's getting eliminated? I don't know. But yet again, there's like 1 million people on this team. So like I don't know who's getting out, because there's so many people. And it's like, I guess you could do that. I mean, look, okay, here's the deal. I would usually suggest, oh no, you shouldn't do this, because if you do this, you're segmenting, right, your voting, so that way nobody's gonna get that many votes. However, the thing is, if you're freaking doing this dumbass percentage system, then no, technically you're not, so you can, but like, you shouldn't. It shouldn't be. This percentage system is hilarious. It's actually so goofy. It's so scuffed. It has to be one of the most scuffed voting systems I've ever seen. Like, I don't think I've ever seen something more scuffed than this. Like, it's just genuinely unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, it is something. All right. So, Is Rainbow ever gonna be done cleaning up her shrine? And also, I'm telling you, bro, we just have a random, like, completely unrelated number related scene, like, every time. Every time. I don't know why it keeps happening. But yeah, like 1 to 1 million. Like, why? I don't know. But oh well. I think the shortest episode is up next, episode 12, which is titled "Quicker the Challenge Than Before." Go. Alright, that is episode 12. So remember that cue from before, which I said was irrelevant? Yo, we actually made it relevant. You know, fair enough. Good job. Good job. You get 7 points for that one. You get 7%. We ended up having the elimination where the eliminated contestants ended up being Daoyusei and also Nagisa Momo, who won, who got the highest percentage in their respective polls, and therefore got eliminated. So the challenge is to get rid of the 1 million cube. Something gets it to win. Imaka keeps binging themselves into the blocks. That means that Mikazuki bunches up for elimination. No idea what the fuck that means. I don't know what Kane just said. I gotta be honest. But anyway, the Mikazuki bunches up for elimination, which means that half of the fucking cast is up for elimination. Look how many people. What? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 characters are up for voting. This is debut levels. The debut literally had less characters. What? This team is gigantic. At that point, this is just the merge again. Like, this is just so many people. I don't know who's getting out. Like, you can't have a team of 17 and then have them lose as well. How does the team of 17 lose? What are half of these people doing? That is incredible, bro. That is insane. I don't, yeah, good for you, by Olivia Rodrigo. Yeah, I don't know, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. As of 13, it's got the Elimination Rotom decks. No idea what those words mean. Let's go. Alright, that is the Elimination Rotom Dex. So, you see, here's the thing. Okay, this show plays an interesting trick. So, you see, last time it did a 1 minute and 41 second long episode, right? And I was like, no, this episode's so short, it's gonna be longer next. It's like, okay, yes, it was longer this time. It was longer because you put a 1 minute and 25 second long random music at the beginning that doesn't serve any purpose other than to be there. It's like, why is it there? Just seriously, why is it there? I need to know. I need to know. Because I don't get it. It's like, what is the point? It doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't, like, you just, like I'm just trying to figure out, like, why, like, really, what is the reasoning behind this scene? At the beginning, like, they slowly come in with the instruments, like, other than fact, again, here's it, my personal opinion is I don't like the sounds that are being there. There's so many sounds going on, and I had such a pitch, I'm not actually a big fan of listening to it, but like, even if I was, I still don't know what the point of that is. Like, I haven't learned anything, other than, they're playing now, like, there wasn't, like, I haven't gained anything. From having watched that, it's like, why? I don't know, but yeah, and of course, plus that, of course, the episode lengths are also, you gotta remember that they're a little bit, you gotta point out, like, we have like a 5-second elimination time, we have a 30-second intro, you gotta mind it. 402 votes, technically the most ever, yes, because there were the most polls ever, for this one, so that means that we end up having, but whatever. We end up having the eliminated contestants be Queenie and Umikar. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I still do believe that is absolutely a set of bias. If you notice that, like, you see how the letter as well gets the most on the other poll, but not quite enough. Like, see, there's a bias towards the character that looks different, right? So like, if you put 3 anime and Coiny, Coiny sticks out like a sore thumb in that selection, so people are gonna vote Coiny on the poll. Like it's just kind of that way to be. And it ends up that I think those characters are highly disadvantaged in their respective session. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Those two get eliminated. Goodbye, Leafy and Teardrop are the only ones left, and now we end up having the contest, which is to catch 5 Pokémones, as Kane, the freaking AI voice, says it. And well, they catch the 5 Pokémones. There's not too much to say about it. The team that loses ends up being the team 3 threes. Who end up losing. So the 7 members of that team are up for elimination. Because, of course, for some reason, there's a team of 17 and there's a team of 7. This is great balancing. I thought you were like, didn't Kane literally say that we were gonna do 4 teams of 8? Is that not what? Didn't bro say that? Is that not a thing that was said? That we just blatantly disregarded to 1 team of 17? Is that not a thing that was said? Because I'm shook. I'm mad shook. I don't get it. What? It's proper what? Like it's proper confusion out here. Cause like, what in the world? How does that happen? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's just it. I just don't know. Like it's just genuinely unbelievable. Okay, well then, let's head into BFMH 14, which is titled Sportsfest Basketball. Go. Alright, that is episode 14 of BFMH, yes indeed. So we have ourselves, well, first of all, 1 billion people talking as of the start. Why? I don't know. I'm going to be 100% honest. However, hey, sometimes things do be like that. So then we have the elimination, where the eliminated contestants are Q and Ben. We get eliminated by getting the most in their respective sections of the poll. So that's fair enough. Goodbye to those two. And then we have the next contest, which is basketball. Yes, it's basketball contest. Get 7 points and you win. I like the implication that this has, that there are just like freaking 28 people in one basketball court, and it's like, what? How does that? How do that function? Because I feel like that wouldn't function. Gonna be 100% honest. But yeah, I will give props for one thing. As far as direct animation quality, I do believe that this is the highest. This is the highest action challenge that has had to be made yet. I'm not gonna lie, and it does a pretty decent job at trying to, get characters to do movement, get the ball to bounce. So I guess when they can do custom eyes and poses like you can with Teardrop, I would say they do pretty good. I like Teardrop in this episode. I think Teardrop has some very fun expressions. Yeah, however, you do notice that there's a bit of a realization immediately. That's like, oh, this is too much shit for us to do. Oh no, right? And then they kind of having the problem here, where it's like you end up just having skips of time until it's suddenly 6 to 5 to 6. Right? It's like, what? But it turns out that the last second, the Holy Quintet again in Team 3 threes end up getting 7, which means that the Holy Quintet is up for elimination. Obviously, the biggest team is the one that doesn't get it. I'm sorry, you are 17. Well, I guess now you're 15 people, right? I don't know. How many? 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm sorry, you are 15 people. And you can't do 7 hoops. I'm sorry. You are 15 people. That's like, what, 5 basketball teams? No, that's like 3 basketball teams. In the court at the same time. How the hell are you not able to get a hoop more than 5 times? Come on now, Mikazuki Punch. You gotta lock in. You lose all the challenges that you should win with ease. I'm telling you, bro. This team has to lock in. This team is proper ass. It is not a great team. But yeah, who's going to win? I don't know. We're going to hit 400 votes again due to the percentage system. That is still hilarious. It will never stop being funny. It will never stop being funny. It is genuinely one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Who does expect to get eliminated? Probably one of the letter fellas. And then, I don't know, somebody from the first voting system, like number A. Like, I don't know. Like, it's random. It's kind of random. Apparently, the old hosts there have just been chilling in Manhattan. I'm sorry, Ramo. I thought you were cleaning up your shrine. I mean, maybe you were done doing that. I mean, I guess it might. I don't know how long it takes to clean up a shrine. Probably not that long, but like you know, you can never. You can never be too sure. How long does it take to clean up a shrine? But yeah, they were hanging out with 4. Rainbow and 4 is a combo I never expected to have to deal with on Object Catchup. But hey, sometimes in life, that's just the way that it goes. Episode 15 of BFMH is titled Warioware Funrun. Okay, here we go. Okay, that is episode 15 of BFMH, Warioware Funrun. So, a yo-yo light gets found. Yes, because, I mean, at the end of the day, we do need a couple more BFDI elements in this Madoka Magica fan show. Whoa, that was crazy. That was crazy. I should not have said that. That's criminal, bro. That's a roast. That's not even that good of a roast. It's just crazy how I felt saying that. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm being like kind of mean to the show. I'm gonna be 100%. I am being kind of mean to the show. However, like, it's so interesting because at the end of the day, I'm not like. I do find it an interesting watch. Like, it's not a watch that I would do all in one sitting, like how I'm kind of am. However, like, it's an interesting watch because it's like, it's so weird to see a show that just does not address its obvious problems. Like, I'm having a team of 4 and a team of 413 is a bad set. You know, like, how do you mean there's a team of 4 and there's a team of 13 currently in the show? Like, it doesn't, like, how does that happen? You know, and how is that? How do we look at that and go, that's okay? I don't know how it does that. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea. However, it certainly does decide to do that, alright? But yeah, we end up having some fellas teleport through time a little bit into the future, into the past, and they eventually try to speedrun their way back with the Euro Light for elimination time. They make it in time right as the votes get revealed, and the eliminated contestants end up being Tsuruno, Yuri, and Felicia, who get eliminated because the two fellas tied a 50% in the second elimination spot. That means that they both get eliminated, which is interesting because I guess there wasn't a proper tiebreaker for them. I mean, you could have made one, but okay, bro, a bit lazy. But yeah, they get eliminated. And then we have the challenges, which is to do Warioware challenges. Complete the Warioware challenges and you will advance. No lie, good idea. As far as challenge ideas go, as far as like what challenge idea I would think is most immediately suitable, like out of the original challenge ideas, out of which one I think is most immediately suitable for a bigger show, I do think that this one would be solid. I think that Warioware microgames are pretty interesting because you can make it like, because they're kind of these super simple tasks that still require some type of thinking. And I mean, if you're in a video game, you can do it in 1 second. However, it's kind of interesting to put it in a 1v1 setting, right? And then have an episode around it because like it gives you that sort of simple challenge idea that you can write around, right? So I do actually like the concept of having Warioware microgames in it, and I feel like this does a decent job. It kind of does it in the way, however, it's kind of step by step by step. Teardrop kind of solos for the entire team. That team doesn't do anything. That team just is like, yo, Teardrop, do your job for us, and then Teardrop does, to be fair, because Teardrop is the GOAT. Teardrop is just goated. So yeah, they have to find the real red at the end of it. It ends up being that little freaking devil guy at the top. Apparently that's the real red. Okay, but that seems good. And not red from Angry Birds. I thought it was red from Angry Birds. I mean, they're just called red. I thought the other one was going to be called like Ray Moo Red or something. I don't know. But yeah, in the meantime, the team of 17 ends up making it. You see, here's the thing. It's like, you see, they win all the challenges they shouldn't. Because, like, it would be surely harder to get 17 people to coordinately get through than it would be to get 4. But they win the challenges that where having quantity is bad, and they lose the challenge where having quantity is good. That team works in opposites. But yeah, it's gonna be I mean, presumably a double elimination with these fellas from the team of 3-3s, and then I mean, I hope that team disbands, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to find out. You know where we're gonna have to find out. Yes, you know where we're gonna have to find out in episode 16, of course. Episode 16, which is titled 300 Strawberry Feast. Whatever the hell that means. Go. Yeah, okay, that is episode 16. I think that settles the current state of this series pretty perfectly, right? It's entirely an episode that kind of follows a plot line, you know, like, oh yeah, the Warioware fellas are hosting the elimination now because they leave it behind. Oh, Kane's there, so they're like, oh, come over here, we're gonna do it, right? So like, there's a semblance of lore going on, and it's kind of cool for about the minute that it happens. But then at a certain point, we end up having an elimination system that's still based on like percentages. At least here it makes sense because there's only one poll, so at least it's correct. Like, we did get 69 votes, but like, at least it's correct, right? However, okay, and then we end up having the freaking the challenge. However, that ends up having a random stalling scene where for fucking 1 full minute we end up having okay, I'm exaggerating, not 1 full minute, but for like 20 to 30 seconds we end up having the scene that's just kind of like entirely just friggin' loop while the strawberries slowly get eaten, and we don't even get to see the team that gets that ends up losing's attempt at it, right? Like, we don't even get to see that. And it's just kind of unfortunate, you know. It's kind of unfortunate because you know, like, it doesn't need to stall as much. And at the end of the day, like, it could just take more time to do more animation. Like, I mean, this is a lot of episodes that have released, and you know, I guess not that long, because if you think about it, I mean, if you start 2 years ago, right, this series, that means that's what, more than 1 episode a month. If there's, you know, 24 months in the last 2 years, roughly speaking, right, that means that there's been 28 episodes in the time that there have been 24 months, which means that the average is more than 1 per month, which means that, like, you can chill. Take your time, man. Or show us a story you're satisfied with, you know? Like, you can do it. Like, either way, somehow the team with only 3 people in it manages to eat 300 strawberries. The team that with 1 million people, yes, that makes sense. However, I don't know how the team with 3 did it. So the Holy Quintet again ends up being up for Elim. It is so over for Teardrop. Please, Teardrop, don't go. Teardrop, I need you to win. Okay, I need you to win against all these losers, Madoka Magic, cause but yeah, it's kind of interesting. One thing that I am going to criticize about this episode, though, is like, hold on a minute. So, like, this girl who got eliminated, Sager got out. Like, or Sager Keegan, or whatever you call it. So you got out, and you're like, no, I don't want to get out. But then as soon as Kane asks you, yo, who got out? And it's like, oh yeah, it was me. No lie, come on, that would have almost made an interesting plot point. That would have been like at least 30% of the way to being interesting. You know, like, come on, you can do it. Okay, well, you don't lie, you're too honest. You've got a cool design, though, I'm not even gonna lie. But like, either way, yeah, that's kind of a complication. And then that is the episode. But yeah, I think that episode does pretty well at kind of settling in the global situation with this series. It stalls itself out for runtime with a challenge that's like mildly original, mildly not. It does the eliminations in a weird way, and it's just overall not the most satisfying watching experience. But oh well. We keep it moving. In episode 17, the recovery centers are restored. Alright, that is episode 17 of Boom. The recovery centers are restored. So yeah, and you know, it is actually an interesting detail, though, to point out that people don't die in this series. Like, I kind of just realized now that they mentioned it. Oh yeah, like, none of these challenges have been even remotely lethal. Maybe that's the reason why the show's not that interesting. Like, it's just not that deep. You know, as people not dying, but if for some reason a couple of fellas were dying because they were playing the freaking game, right, of mimicking, so Teardrop dies and the freaking other B letter dies, right, but yeah, we end up ordering a recovery center. It's a hand-powered recovery center that got shipped by the freaking Reimu's co-host, who's that other character who has a name that I should probably know, because I think is one of the more popular characters, but you think I do? No. So yeah, they end up recovering them, and then we have the elimination time. And you know what? Out of the 3 at this point, I'm just gonna give up. with this stupid ass percentage counting system. But you know what? For once, despite it being fucking rigged, Teardrop has won. Let's fucking go. Teardrop made it by 4% survival. 4%. I mean, hey, imagine me, Sayak, 1% though, 1% survival. If only this was like in one poll and it wasn't in two polls and it was bullshit, you know, that'd be great. But unfortunately, Teardrop literally with the worst one, being in the worst poll and yet still survive it. This is why Teardrop is the GOAT, bro. Teardrop for the win. I'm telling you. We are making it all the way. But yes, then we have ourselves the challenge, which is a drawing challenge. Overall, for a Flipper Clip show, I always think that these are some pretty solid challenges because you don't need to draw a lot of action for characters moving, right? So, especially in this show that uses very much so kind of very asset, like how to say this, very forcibly asset formats. I think that like these still images, I think it's solid to have a challenge like this where like you can just show the finished drawing and then it's solid. So then you only have to make the drawing. And in this case, if you just steal the drawing, you don't have to make the drawing either. Let's go. Yeah, so we get a 10 out of 10, and then the Madoka team ends up getting a 5 out of 10, the Kazuyuki bunch ends up getting a 5 out of 10, Spider drawing being pretty good, and then finally the 3 threes, and they're getting a 1 out of 10 on their scribble drawing. To be fair, that makes sense. You know, I would expect that like the team that's super massive would not sort out the best drawer. The team that's middle side would manage to successfully pick the best drawing, the best artist, and pick them to draw. And then this team just doesn't feel like there's a mermaid in 2 letters. None of these people can draw. So yeah, it just ends up being a global failure. So yeah, voting ends March 20 in spring. In spring, by the way, that's an important fact. It's in spring, by the way. Yeah, did you know it's in spring? Yes, it's in spring. I know, right? This is crazy. But yes, we also have a new debut. 2 people will join. Yippee! We have Magnet, who's just a magnet. We have, what the hell's your name? Lorna. A table. What are you called? Side table drawer. Bartleby. I don't know what these people are from. Peppa Pig, and then Sheldon Plankton. I don't think that's your name. You call Sheldon? Sheldon Plankton. Either way, I mean, Peppa Pig would probably make sense to join this show. I don't know. I would join like Peppa Pig and the bird, because the bird at least asked to debut, right? So like that would make sense. But I don't really know. 2 people are joining, which gives us at least one more episode of BFMH. Total, I'm starting to understand how there's 28 total. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, sometimes that makes sense. You know, now that I think about it, the fact that the debut is technically a post-credit scene, and then there's a post-credit scene to the post-credit scene, that means that there's technically a post-credit scene, which is blowing my mind. Okay, let's have our minds blown some more in episode 18. You've got gold. Alright, that is the 18th episode of BFMH, and you see what I mean? You see what I mean, bro? Like, it's, like, this team is really interesting. This fucking, like, Mayuki tree, like Mikazuki bunch, right? Like, this team is really interesting, because, like, it really does seem, it's like, it's tactically made. The challenges that it would make sense for this team to dominate in, because they just have so many more people than the other teams, they lose them. It's all of the time. Literally the entire way. Like, every single time. Like, it's good. What should you think in this challenge, right? Okay, so in this challenge, right? What's the challenge? You have to find gold, okay? You have to find gold in this challenge. Okay, so surely having the freaking... how many people is at this point? The 11 people to find gold, surely they would do better than the 6 people to find gold, right? Like, there's so many more people to look for it. But instead they find a crystal. And again, how is this a global miscommunication? I don't know. But, either way, first to start, we end up having the eliminated contestant be, the whack, I don't know what you call it. But yeah, the last double dealing character is gone. Goodbye, double dealing. You are no more. And the joining contestants end up being Side Double Drawer from poll number 1 and Peppa Pig from poll number 2. So good job to them too. The show has just gotten 50% more baby friendly with those 2 additions. But yes, of course they don't put them all on the small team. For some reason they put Peppa Pig on the gigantic team. So that's cool. So they put them on the quintet. So now there's a team of 11, there's a team of 8, and there's a team of 3. So yeah, this is great numberings here. But yeah, as I said, the challenge is to find gold to get ultimate immunity, which, by the way, doesn't mean anything. Like, I was almost debating, would it be that, like, it's a fancy name that they keep using? But, like, a couple episodes ago, right, the challenge was to climb the Tokyo Tower, and then you got immortal immunity, but that didn't mean anything. So, like, these are just words. This show loves to do that. This show just uses words. You know, this show was like, words? I should say those and then not do anything about it. I'm gonna say words. That's what this show likes to do. But yes, the fellas find it. The drawer conveniently does happen to have a drill within them, within the actual drawing, which it's convenient, but like it is at least cool. That is the thing. We're utilizing the character's object nature to their advantage, which is nice. We enjoy seeing that. So they end up having a drill, and then with this drill they end up mining and finding gold. So you see, like, that makes sense. Like, because at the end of the day, we need to start inventing more and more contrived reasons, right, for this team of, like, pretty much nobody to somehow make it, like, every time, right? However, like, we still end up having some situations, right? But yeah, in the meantime, the quintet of hope and dreams, or whatever it's called, ends up just waiting for freaking this fella, the one with the 2 F's on the hair that I know the name of, because I do, but I don't remember your name right now. I know, I don't remember, but everybody else decides to, let's just look at this person clearly use a sword to mine. You don't use a sword as a pickaxe. What are you doing? Don't you have an IQ of 80? What do you mean you're using the sword as a pickaxe, bro? Have you tried doing that in Minecraft? See what happens? It doesn't work. So yeah, these are being there for ages. But eventually they find gold. They find gold. And then end up being safe, which means that the Mikazuki bunch end up being up for elimination. I don't really care about the people on this team. I mean, there's a debate to say I don't care about anybody on the show, except for Teardrop. But like, that's not really anybody's fault, really, just because I don't know these characters and they were never properly introduced to me. Like, this show just kind of presumes that I know, which is fair, because realistically, how many people will watch this show that wouldn't know? Probably not that many, right? So yeah, and the post-credit scene is just freaking fellas in jail dancing. At this point, they're just having a party. The eliminated contestants, well, I feel like that's more fun than the show. Debatably speaking, that's probably just more fun than the show. We should go. Like, y'all should go there. Right? Surely, that's more fun. But okay then. All right. So those fellas are having fun. Look at Fiery go. All right, it's time. Actually, I'm saying look at Fiery go as if it's not a still image. Okay, episode 19 of BFMH is titled "Something Smells Fishy." Go. Alright, that is the 19th episode of BFMH. So, first of all, we have the elimination with our 300 plus 13 votes. Okay, the way that I'm currently gauging this is 300 is the bullshit percentage, and I'm guessing that the 13 is the amount of actual votes that don't get counted, because for some reason they don't get added onto the percentage. However, there's still there as a number being like, hey, this is how many people would have voted if we did this thing properly. Which, I mean, it's, at least it's like a number. It's above 10, so it would have got the show would have proper votes. But yeah, by the way, the eliminated contestants end up being K80, who loses the 1v1 poll, and then Yachiyo, who loses for a free-for-all poll. So unfortunate for them. Tsukuya and Tsukasa survived by 7%. So yeah, they have been eliminated. Goodbye to them both. And next we have our challenge in fishing. And to be fair, an interesting question gets brought up in this fishing challenge. It's that, okay, how much, it's like in fishing challenge, a lot of the time, especially in object shows like this, when they're kind of having the thing, catch the most fish. Okay, but like, catching bigger fish is what usually is better for fishers, right? Like, usually fishing crews try to catch a lot of fish, right? That's the ones with the gigantic nets, right? However, in general, a regular fisherman, put it in, put it down, they're not trying to catch any fish, they're trying to catch the big fish, right? So that's kind of how they go about it. So, like, it's kind of weird to use like incorrect line of like thinking, like the line of thinking that people don't usually use when fishing when we're doing challenges like this. So it's why it kind of is like, yo, should a bigger fish be valued more? And I mean, my opinion would be that yes, it's kind of one of those things like it depends, right, a little bit on like the specifics of a situation. However, you know, I know a game like We Play. Okay, We Play has a fishing minigame, and how it kind of works is that depending on the fish that it is, right, and like the weight of the fish, is just give you more points. Right, it's kind of like, yo, the big fish is worth like 10 points. Like, just to ultra simplify, because of course it depends on the exact weight. Right, where like big fish worth 10 points, small fish with 1 point, ultra big fish worth 50 points, right, something like that. Because then it's kind of just difficult for me to think. Because, okay, first of all, by the way, a team uses a fucking, what do they use? They use like one of them as bait. Wriggle. They use Wriggle as bait, by the way, which is insanity. But yeah, gigantic fish ends up getting there, and they're doing that. Just to point out, by the way, this does mean that Wriggle did get eaten, you know, because that's how bait works. You go eat it, and then you get caught. So that means that Wriggle did get eaten. So, that is something that is a sacrifice that got made, but it did catch the fish. So good job, Mikazuki-bun. So this fish apparently counts for more than 28, because they more than 28 total fishes are within this big fish, probably considering the size of the other fishes. But yeah, Team 3 Trees end up having 26 fishes. To be fair, they do actually a very solid performance for having only 3 people with no arms. The addition of this toolbox pretty much has really given Team 3 Trees a lot of competition. However, yeah, in this one there was a lot of value in numbers, you know. And then this challenge they ended up losing. So, you know, I like that challenge. Out of challenges, that one, you know, it got me thinking. It got me moving. You know, it got me vibing, alright? It got me vibing, not gonna lie. That challenge got me thinking, yo, that was kind of interesting. Yo, that was kind of interesting. Yo, that was kind of interesting. You know, it kind of got me thinking. So, that was cool. That was cool. Okay, that episode, episode 20 is titled The Great Fast Food Cooking. Go. Alright, that is episode 20 of BFMH. So we have here, well, an episode, where, first of all, we have an apology. Yo, so you know how, like, I was, wait, hold on. Wait a minute, hold on, I'm kind of confused. Hey, I owe you an apology. No, that's the wrong way around. Hold on, wait a minute. I owe you an apology because you used me as a bait and nearly drowned me, so I need to apologize to you. Yeah, you see how that's the wrong way around? Now, I think they were asking for an apology. Yeah, because the other fella proceeds to immediately apologize, saying that they won't do it again. Okay, so that's wrong sentencing. Okay, whatever. That's fine. That's okay. I get it. We got there. I understand the point of the scene, okay? By the way, what is this background? Oh my god, wow, I did not pay attention to it. That is 7 pixels. Like, I can see the pixels. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, so we have the elimination where, out of 18 and 99 votes, A gets eliminated with 44% of the total vote tally. Unfortunate for Mr. A, however, you know, there's not too much to really, do about that. And then we have ourselves the intro, which we haven't mentioned in a while, but this intro continues to be a intro for sure. I mean, there's really not too much I can say about it. You know, it's kind of, it's an intro. And indeed it keeps going. And then we have ourselves the challenge. So the challenge is a fast food contest. Work at McDonald's, make the best possible food at McDonald's, and you will win. I will say, interesting idea in theory. I mean, it's not what we end up doing over here in the challenge, of course. However, I do gotta point out that it would be an interesting idea to do, like, maybe possibly even, like, within a real series. Like, because imagine, because, like, you know, like, McDonald's isn't gonna have all the best tools, all the best resources. It's just like, what is the best food that you can make entirely out of the storage at a McDonald's? You know, like, turning McDonald's gourmet. I feel like that would be an interesting thing. So, like, you have to deal with overall relatively fast food, but try to make fine dining with those facilities. You know, it would be an interesting possible challenge. However, these fellas are not cooks, so they end up just kind of making regular McDonald's shenanigans. Yet again, this show still hasn't really learned that a scene, like, I think that realistically, a scene where somebody isn't talking, okay, should probably never be over like 6 seconds if it's just a purely visual scene. Like, I do not need to see this patty flip for 25 seconds. I don't need to see that. I can see it for 5, 6, 7 seconds, but 25 is a lot of fucking seconds, right? Like, it's at the end of the day, I don't need to see it. That is the absolute main understanding. Like, you know, I've said it, and I keep repeating it because in so many episodes it's true. I mean, this is what happens when I have to review a 28 episode show. Okay, I end up repeating myself a lot. But like, this is just a situation, you know, like it's so much. It's so much of this stuff where it's kind of like bro moment, you know, like, come on, like, you don't need to do this. But absolutely, that's the main tip for the future. It's like, try to not make the scenes where something's happening but there's no dialogue. Make it way shorter, like trim it down by 70% that length. Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, some fellas make burgers, some other fellas make fries. Actually, 2 teams make fries, I think. But then at the last second, No, sorry, 1 team makes fries. However, at the last second, the duo, which, by the way, I'm telling you, bro, as soon as this fucking drawer comes in, this thing got so interesting. This team actually started doing tactics. And they're coming in, just getting a grimace shake, and then stealing the fries at the last second here, this B note. And then they end up doing it. So then we have the judges, by the way. Somehow, Sayaka and Teardrop ended up together at the roof. Gotta say, pretty romantic. No, I'm just... new ship. No. But like, yeah, so they end up doing so yeah, they ate a Krabby Patty. They gave it a 10 out of 10. Then we end up having the Grimace Shakes, who were packed up in the bag. They end up collapsing from them because, of course, Grimace Shakes are famously bad. We have a title card joke because, you know, it's the classic joke. It's one of the most iconic SpongeBob jokes. And then finally the fries end up getting a 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and 9 out of 10. Sorry, in McDonald's, fries are a 10 out of 10. I think our standards are a bit low, but either way, yeah. The Grimace Shake team, the Mikazuki bunch, end up being up for E-Limit due to the surprise from the other fellas. I'm expecting probably the letter to get out, but I don't really know who else. Like, I don't know. We're just gonna have to find out in the episode Ventuno, which is titled "Break the Spell of the Mountains." Go. Okay, that is episode 21 of BFMH, Break the Spell of the Mountains. So we end up having the classic episode of BFMH again. This is the other type of classic episode. The first classic episode is the episode where nothing happens at all, but it somehow stalled out to 3 minutes. And the second type of episode, the one where the host changes. That is the second type of classic BFMH episode that happens all the time. So here we end up having our fellow host. The Kane is sick, which means that you know, we need to call up a new host. Why can't the co-host take over hosting duties? I don't know. But I don't know. I guess they were just never given the promotion. So we end up calling the first person on the contacts list, who apparently ends up being Yukari. Now, who is Yukari? Shall we do some research? Yukari Takeba. This is a different character. Yukari Tohu. Yukari Yakumo. Okay, different. Yes, this is the correct character. You are the Yukai Sage of Gensokyo. Okay, I don't know what that is. Look, they're the hosts now. They seem relatively chill. Anyway, whatever. And then we end up having the eliminated contestant be Yui Tamaki with 36% and a tie 35% and Tuka Satomi. So we end up having a triple elimination this time around. Goodbye. They end up entering the spot, or I don't know, the weird portal thing. But hey, that is where, you know, the Reimu once went to clean up her shrine. So maybe they might hang out there. But yeah, we end up having, for the first time, a renewed intro because we have, of course, our new host at the start of it. And I mean, actually, we did technically have the renewed intro like a couple episodes ago that I didn't realize with the new characters, so that's cool. Challenge is to find a treasure chest in the mountains. I thought that these mountains were the ones from Sonic CD for a moment, but I don't think they are. Because you know the Sonic CD intro, like, it kind of gave me heavy vibes, but I don't think it's that. I think it's actually just different mountains. But yeah, there's 2 treasure chests among these mountains. The fellas split up and try to find them for ages. It turns out that the first team to find them after a couple of days is of a duet, like the duo, the team 33s, and defining it, because I'm telling you, this team is goated. This team is randomly turned into the strongest team on Earth, not the one from Teapot, the just, like, I mean, like, you know, the general terminology that, like, it's a strong team, yeah, okay, so yeah, then we end up having, what else do we end up having? We end up having the other treasure chest. That ended up being an epic battle between the two characters on one team and two characters on the other team, including Teardrop. Why do the other people not come and help out? Yeah, I don't know. You know. Yeah, no, I don't know. They were just watching. You know, sometimes shit is too entertaining to intervene. Helping out your team, nah, bro. I gotta watch them. Okay, nah, bro. All right. But anyway, Teardrop and Blue Ribbon Girl end up losing Lemon and Cyan Girl with outlines to it, which means that after, by the way, a shit ton of random shaking of the mountains, by the way, like that's like 30 seconds of shaking, we end up having the Holy Quintet lose, so that means that this team is up for elimination. It's gonna be interesting to see if Peppa Pig's, if Teardrop survives this elimination, because I think that Peppa Pig might be solid enough to get Teardrop to stay around. I don't know. I want Teardrop to survive. Teardrop, remain goated. Okay, you're dealing with some tough competition out here, but you gotta stay. Okay, Teardrop, don't go. Okay, you're the good character. Yeah, I don't know. I was getting out in the first batch. But yeah, Evil Leafy shows up, by the way, at the end. The endings usually haven't been too like important. You know, they haven't been too indicative of much, to be honest. However, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, like, it could be, right? It's kind of like one of those things that, like, there's always a non-0% chance. However, hey, you know, that's kind of how it goes. I mean, from the name of this episode, it's not giving me heavy Evil Leafy interference vibes, but like, because, you know, it's kind of like how, you know, there was that one alphabet lore song like 10 episodes ago, right? It was like, okay, I mean, that doesn't mean that the alphabet lore characters have shown up, though. That's just a song that's there, you know? Right? So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Indeed, by the way, I feel like I've had to deal with the problem of text over the Flipper Club logo less. I don't know if this is a placebo, but I've had to deal with that quite less. So I think that's the issue that was solved, by the way. Like, a lot of the time, like, it depends, but I feel like in general, we are starting to work around the Flipper Club logo a bit more. So we are doing it, like, so I mean, because we're trying to give credit where credit is due, right? Like, I still believe that it screws up in a lot of areas. However, like, in general, you know, I gotta give it credit in some cases. Like, it realized some of its errors. I still think that there's a million more that it hasn't realized, you know, and that's kind of, like, unfortunate for it. However, in general, I think that, like, a lot of, It does try to correct on some things. Okay, so that's, like, with all due respect, but it does do that. Okay, what's next? Next up is episode 22, or 22, which is titled Fly Me to the Moon. Okay, Fly Me to the Moon. Here we go. Go. Okay, alright, that is episode 22. Okay, we have officially gotten to unbearable levels. Okay, I'm sorry. So, one of the things that I've really not mentioned that much is audio, okay? But audio's got so much worse in this episode. Oh my god. Nearly every single voice line that's recorded has, like, this freaking, like, glitch to it. With this, like, freaking super loud shh. Like, sound of shh. Like, I don't really know how to best even describe the sound that gets made. However, like, it's so hard to listen to. That is unfortunate, man. What the fuck, dude? I don't know how it does that. Because, like, in general, the audio for it was okay. I mean, it had to deal with the fact that, you know, most things were recorded, and sometimes, depending on the track, kind of at random, it was too loud. Kind of like how, you know, in the last episode, like, the super epic music was way too loud. In this episode, it was super epic music. It's also way too loud. However, like, it's still, like, okay, I get it. Like, it's not the end of the world, right? But that is the end of the world. If my ears are hurting every time I have to listen to a voice line, then no, that's pretty bad. Like, that's not good. You know, that's not what we want out here, right? So, that ends up being kind of like it's a problem. All right. But either way, let's see. What else do we even have? We have oh yeah. The start, which yet again, it's a perfect example. You see what I mean? Like, we don't need the scene to be a minute long. You know what's funny is that it literally shouldn't be a minute long by any stretch of any definition, because like the Reese's Puffs song, like the meme, is literally 30 seconds long. You realize because like it fucking loops. They give it an entire loop. Why? Why do they allow it to loop? At least if they use the full song, I go like, okay, but they didn't even use the full song. They used the full song and then some. What is the point of that now? I don't know, but that is unbelievable. Okay, that is unbelievable. But yes, we end up having Teardrop eliminated with 47%. Unfortunate. I mean, you did lose in the 1v1 with the chest. So there really wasn't anybody else to pick. But it's unfortunate here that Teardrop is indeed going the best character to have ever lived, to have ever graced the magical hotel. Has dipped. So. Yeah, they end up dipping over. And I mean, are there even any object show characters left? I feel like there aren't. So I feel like it's kind of over for object shows. Nowadays, it's over. But either way, the losers of this challenge end up being the trio trees because because they don't have a rocket to go to the moon, which is the challenge, right? The other teams end up having rockets ready somehow. So that means that the other fellas are there, but apparently they have a picture of the moon though in the drawer, so that means that they get to teleport under the moon. However, I actually like this, where they're not just safe for a bullshit reason. They have to go to the moon and press the button that's there, right, next to the American flag. So like, I like this because it's like, okay, they found a way to get to the moon without having to fly there. However, the fact is that now they're at a random spot on the moon. So the fact that they're at a random spot on the moon means that they have to go look for they have to properly go look for the other things, right? Which means that they won't find the button easily. Whereas the other teams that are landing, they will land next to the button, so they'll get it. So yeah, it's solid. I actually like that little dynamic that ends up getting built around it. Like that's just pretty solid. I like how we have the question, how are we able to breathe in outer space? That's the question we're asking. But yes, they end up losing because in the 1v1, they end up losing against the freaking the Mikazuki bunch, who, to be fair, they have more numbers, so I'd expect them to win a 1v1 or more like a 7v2. But yeah, they're up for freedom. I mean, okay, well, look, after this, there's only going to be one person on this team, on Team 3 Trees. So surely it's merge time. Right? It's either merge time or it's team shuffling time. But like, I don't trust team shuffling time. Like, I don't trust team shuffling time anymore. Last time we did fucking team shuffling time, you know what happened? Last time we did team shuffling time? It ended up that we ended up having a team with 17 and then a team with 4. That was last time we did team shuffling time. So like, came was like 4 teams of 8 guys, and then we see no 4 teams of 8. It's that bruh moment. Like, what is this? But like, okay then. So, yeah, who gets eliminated of the two? I mean, the drawer has absolutely done the best of the best. Like, they've really tried out here. They lost based on, like, an unfortunate detail, because yet again, they were going to win because of the drawer. So, the drawer absolutely should stay in the show. Like, by all means. But then, to be fair, the note's doing pretty good. So, yeah, this team's loss is kind of just more unfortunate than it is anything. Are they going to pick us up? What? Don't you have 2 rockets? Fucking go in a rocket, bro. Alright, it is now time for episode 23 of BFMH, which is titled, The Contest is About Flags. Alright, that is episode 23 of BFMH. It's the next day, by the way. You watched it that day. It was already nighttime. But yes, so apparently our previous host, the freaking Yukari, they already dipped. They dipped. Like, they're not hosting already. They were like 2 episodes, and they already were like, I can't do this. Well, you know what? Fair enough. So then that means that we have some new hosts. I don't know who these two are, but you have US flag girl, and then different girl who's sad, and then different girl, and then we have this still the same voting screen. By the way, we get the new elimination time theme because of it, which is cool. I actually like this elimination time theme. There's a decent amount of effort put into it. I mean, of course, it's kind of like questionable harmonizing. However, I mean, like considering AI voice and everything, sure, why not? We can do that. That's cool. I like that. I like that elimination time theme where the eliminated member on the team after 114 votes is side table drawer. It's still, I don't know what the 14 means because to this day it's just 100, but okay. So yeah, side table drawer gets eliminated. You were just too OP for this world. That's just kind of how it goes. You were gonna smash the competition if you survived. So yeah, that means that the letter B or whatever the hell you're called, hard side, ends up joining the freaking what team did you? What team did you join? Oh, you joined the holy quintet. Yes, you joined the holy quintet. Anyways, the challenge is to make a flag. So, made the best flag win. So we have a couple of teams. So the holy quintet decides to make a Japan flag, which is it's a debatably good idea. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, I mean, it's good in the sense that like it's really simple and you'll get it immediately. However, it's simple, so you might lose out to a more complex flag that gets drawn. And in fact, the other team decides to draw a USA flag. Well, first of all, there is the freaking fat girl who's USA coded, but like other than that, they make a USA flag, and thankfully they managed to make a 100% accurate replica of the USA flag somehow. Which, it's hard to make a USA flag. I don't know if you ever tried. It's not that easy to just do. So, like, yeah, they did a good job, and they definitely deserve to win for making, just a more complex flag at the end of the day. So, even without bias, like, is the USA flag better than the Japan flag? I mean, like, I don't know if it's better. However, it's harder to make, and therefore more impressive, and therefore winning the challenge deservedly so. Which means that the Holy Quintet is up for elimination. Presumably, a hard sign is not up for elimination because they just switched team? Or did they? I mean, I don't know. Because hard sign's supposed to be on this team, but they're not up for Elim. Which is, like, kind of weird. Right? So, like, I don't really get it. I don't know. Because if hard sign joined the other team, that's just kind of dumb. Was like, wait a minute, you made hard sign join the bigger fucking team? Well, I know. I don't really know. Peppa Pig's so off. Like, right? Peppa Pig's gotta go. But yeah, and then freaking happy 4th of July. Was this actually on 4th of July? Oh, it was on 4th of July. Okay, that's cool. Cool. Thematic episode. Let's go. We love themes around here. That's like cool. By the way, remember that evil I just randomly remembered the evil leaf I saw yesterday. Yeah, that didn't matter. I told you it wasn't gonna matter. I told you, bro. I predicted it. I was like, nope, this isn't gonna matter. You just know it. I so told you, bro. But yeah, flag making is interesting. I really, let me just say this. I think this is one of the W challenges. Not that many shows do flag making challenges. Like I think it could be a good idea for an object show to do a vexillology based challenge. Vexillology is the art of making flags. Like, yeah, it's solid. Okay, I approve of this challenge. I'm approving of the challenges more lately. I'm not gonna lie. The challenges, they're like a bit more interesting lately, for sure, than they have been in the first batch, in the first half of episodes. Like, I think we are getting a little bit more creative. Like, just a little bit. I'm not gonna give it too much credit, but just a little bit. As of 24, don't get caught in red. Alright, that is BFMH 24, don't get caught in red. So, we yet to get, look, here's the deal, like, I don't know, like, it kind of gets its own problems, and it kind of doesn't. Like, again, the first 30 seconds of this video, you're currently seeing it, it's just this one loop, of dancing, and it's like, I get it, but 30 seconds, like, again, like, I have to make these points dead clear, because, look, I mean, like, we are like, yo, like, you don't need to repeat yourself so many times. Okay, yes, probably not. However, at the same time, right, like, it's just that, bro, we didn't realize these errors for like 2 years, so, that is certainly something. So, like, we gotta kind of try to knock it in you know. But yes, the eliminated contestant ended up being Wriggle Nightbug. We don't have triple elimination. Apparently that was too much nowadays. So Wriggle Nightbug gets eliminated. It's been fun, guys. Has it? To be fair, out of all the characters in the show, you've been the most scammed in the sense that you were used as fishing bait, which is hilarious. Like, that's like the most evil thing anybody's ever done in this series. Used as bait is crazy. Like, that is crazy, bro. This crazy stuff. But yes, they ended up dipping. Goodbye, Wriggle Nightbug. We have ourselves the intro, which was renewed a little bit last episode, of course, to account for our new batch of hosts. And then we have ourselves the merge, especially the merge is the final 12. And yes, and presumably only one person gets eliminated from here on out. So we have red light, green light as the contest. Yes, I mean, of course, since it's now the merge, this means that there will actually just be a general like change in like what types of challenges can get used, right? Because merge challenges are different than non-merge challenges because like they're more individual. Red light, green light is a very individual challenge, so that's a pretty good idea. I mean, I don't know, 6 months ago, Squid Game might be a bit out of style, but like, you do what you gotta do. The characters that end up making it out alive are Cerno, Hamura, Madoka, Sayaka, Peppa, Iroha, and Momoko, which means that the other fellow, by the way, this is only the second challenge to be considered lethal. Fun fact, yes, because it was this and then the random game that people were playing earlier, because it's only the second time we've ever had to use the recovery center, so yeah, at least it's still here, at least we didn't like forget about the recovery center, you know, like it's kind of like, bro, so then we end up having these fellas of elimination. So the hard side, the duet people, what was your name? I don't remember these last names, but yeah, one of them's getting eliminated. Okay, trust me. Okay, trust me. One of them's going home. Okay, or well, not going home. They're going to the dimension. I don't know where they're going. I feel like it kind of depends. They go to jail, but they go to jail something in a different way every time. Speaking of which, by the way, we end up seeing the fellas in jail after 7 months. Yes, they've been in jail for 7 months. Which, by the way, they've been in jail for 7 months. That's like, the show has been around for more than 7 months. I mean, it started 2 years ago, so that's weird. Apparently there's a door that was just there, and no, not one of the 1 million people there to open it, because you need a key, which Fiery happens to have. Of course, they probably got it from the fucking drawer. This drawer is so, like, I'm telling you, none of these people could do anything in that jail cell until the flipping drawer came along, and now the drawer is goated. And then the drawer solves all your problems. This drawer solves all your problems. If you have ever had a problem in the history of humanity, just ask the drawer. They will have the thing in there that just helps you fix it. You know? Like, it'll be like, damn, I'm about to go bankrupt. You check the drawer. Drawer got $1 million in it. Like, it's just this drawer. But yes, they end up opening the door. Obviously, it does the sound from BFB. I don't remember what BFB episode exactly where like Lai opens the door, but it does like a wow. I don't know how to make a door sound. How do you make a door sound? Meow. I don't know how to make a door sound. But yes, the door opens and then probably wait, actually we do get to see where to go. Oh yeah, they go to a waterfall. Which we grabbed the one that has a giant watermark on the image. Great stuff. Great stuff all around. But yeah, I guess they can hang out in water. Hey, Teardrop's home right here, and it's Fiery's nightmare. So you know. All right, episode 25 is titled Host versus Host. Go. Alright, that is BFMH 25. So, we have ourselves here an episode. First of all, the fellas at the waterfall end up finding out that the waterfall is water and there's nothing else there apparently. At least they don't find anybody else. But hey, now they can chill at a waterfall. You know, I think that's better than jail. So now, you know, they've increased their total pool of possible locations by quite a bit. You know, they've gone like they can either be in jail or they can be a waterfall, and that's about it. You know, like, but hey, maybe there's something at the top of the waterfall. Nobody wants to check. Like half of the characters there can fly. So I don't know what's the excuse. Like come on, bro. Lock in. But yeah, so we have the elimination, but before the elimination, the problem is every host comes back at the same time. Foreign are back, Kane is back, the Raymu's back, the freaking the other girl's back, and they're all having an argument. Out of curiosity, who do you think would win this like battle? Because I feel like there's an interesting set of power scale, like just between like, because okay, well here's the deal. Well, I don't know how strong the Tohu people are. However, like, I don't know, like, who would win between, like, 4 and Kane? I feel like 4 wins, right? Because Kane has, like, not that many abilities tied to, like, his core, but, like, 4 does, like, you know, I mean, 4 right now doesn't, but, like, you know, 4 on an average day tends to, so, I feel like 4 probably beats out Kane, especially for not in the digital circus, but anyways, we end up having the challenge being to vote for the best host. But first we have the elimination, where the eliminated contestant ends up being Rina Minami. Goodbye, you are gone. And now we have ourselves a challenge, which is to vote the best host. If you all have 10 points, the host gets a say, and the player who has the lowest score will be up for elimination. This challenge makes high key no sense. What? Hold on. So there's 11 people, and a host needs to get 10 points. How the fuck? Like, just make it a majority. Just make it everybody votes. The host with the most votes is safe. No, is the host. Right? Surely. And then the people who voted the more popular host, I guess, get to stay. Right? They get to immunity. But instead we need to get 10 specific votes. How do you get 10 votes out of 11 people? No, you have to get everybody to vote 4 times. So then, you know what we end up seeing? We end up seeing a fucking 40-second long loop of the characters appearing, pressing the button. This is like 40 seconds. See, the characters loop of voting in the same spots every single time, like 7 times in these 40 seconds. How do we not realize this is too much time to put stuff on loop? I don't know. This show is driving me mad. It's just unfortunate, because I don't mind a shorter episode. Like, it's okay. Like, you can make it. If you have less content, that's fine. You know? Like, it's better to have more engaging content than to have more content, but it's more boring, you know, in terms of length, in terms of runtime, you know? You don't need to stretch the video to be 5 minutes. Like, you don't need to do that, you know? But anyway, apparently with 10 points, the current host gets to stay, so that's cool. They get to stay, since Cerno and Hardsign voted for them to stay. Which means that the other fellas, Hard Sign voted for them to stay, which means that everybody else up for elimination. Again, I don't know how those 2 people made 10 points, but yes, that means that everybody else up for elimination. Interesting. 9 people being up for elimination is a little bit complicated, especially for the poll. However, I guess we'll have to see who gets eliminated. You know, it's not 9 people, it's 8 people, because these 2 count as 1. I don't know, we'll have to see who gets eliminated. I always think it's Peppa Pig's time to go, and then it never is. Peppa Pig has this kind of low-key about it, you know? Peppa Pig has this kind of low-keyness, but it doesn't really do much. Kind of like most characters. You notice that the characters that don't do anything are the characters that are still here. Like, the more a character actually does in the episodes, you'll notice that they end up becoming the target a bit more easily, because they're just more memorable, so you remember them in your brain more, so you're more likely to vote them, right? But yeah, in this case, like, it's kind of a lot of the characters remaining are very, very much so uneventful, you know. So yeah, and then at the waterfall, we end up discovering this person. I don't know who you are, but you have a gigantic hat with a eye on the hat. Let's go. I am not cultured enough to understand what you are. You need to get some clothes that fit you better. What in the world? But yes, you are the new fella from the waterfall. I mean, you're not a contestant. You were just there, so maybe, how would you have gone in there? I'm trying to think. Maybe you're like the ruler of the waters, or whatever. Right, something like that. You know, it's gotta be one of these reasons, right? Okay, all right. Episode 26 of BFMH is titled Splatter Pumpkin. Here goes. Alright, that is episode 26 of BFMH. So, are you ready to hear me make the same critique that I've made in every episode again? Yes, I'm gonna make it. Why are these scenes so long? Oh my god. And then but then yet again you're gonna go, Eternal the second. Stop complaining about the same thing. Okay, then stop doing the same thing. Okay, and now stop. If the show stops doing the same mistake every time. I was counting, okay? I was like, okay, how many times are they gonna need to show these characters saying push and then the push? Okay? Because my personal opinion, after two times, I get it. You know, I'm like, okay, yes, they're pushing the thing. We can move on to the dialogue now. Okay? Alright. But then, okay, for me, 2 was enough. They do this for 10 times. They do it 10 times. We get to hear the push and then right, and then until there's a piece of dialogue. 10 times. That is so many times. Oh my god, bro. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. But yes, eventually they're basically trying to push the door open, I think. I don't know. You know, I don't even know what they're trying to do. Now that I think about it, I don't know. Like, they're trying to get the door into the waterfall? Wait, what? Oh, hold on. I don't know if they're trying to open the door because okay, maybe the door locked in on them. Is that what happened? The door might have locked in on them because it is closed. Or maybe they're trying to push the door into the water or something like that. I don't know. The Mr. Hat fella that showed up at the last post-credit scene is already not here. I don't know what happened to that guy. That fella dipped immediately. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. And then we end up having the elimination where the eliminated contestants end up being... Oh, yeah, by the way, Bill Cipher's a recommended character. Okay, bro. But yes, let's see. We have the contestants who are eliminated being Peppa Pig and Homura Kemi. Yes, double E them actually. Not sure why, but yes, double E them. Look, this show just does things how it vibes, you know? Like, this show just kind of vibes it out. For the first time, we get to see, like, the screenshot includes the vote count. So we get to properly see. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Wait, how many votes did they say there were? I'm curious. Are you seated? We have a few people watching. Fishy will be safe. Okay, okay, no, we don't even say how many votes we are. Okay. Because you see, okay, so there's a total of 15-ish voters who probably voted once on each poll, so that would make, 29 total votes between the two polls, since everybody can vote twice, one on each half. So there's about, so, like, I mean, 15's not too bad, like, considering it's a 26th episode, right, and, I mean, it's not, like, not as many people are gonna know, like, it's not too bad. However, I mean, like, yeah, we just for some reason lie and say that there's 200 votes instead. And it's like, come on. Hey, please. But yes, Peppa Pig and Homura Kemi are out. So that means that the only character, the only non-human character left is Heartsign. Which is, you know, it's them against the world, and they're still getting eliminated in this episode because they're the only one left. Like, it's gone. It's over for them. It's about to be anime. But yes, it's a pumpkin carving contest. Best pumpkin wins, which means that obviously, you know what's about to happen. The thing that's not a pumpkin wins. Let's go. I mean, it's a robo pumpkin, but it's not the best carved pumpkin. It's just a robotic pumpkin. I mean, I wouldn't have personally given the show of it. Like, okay, here's the deal. It's probably the most impressive pumpkin, as in it's not a pumpkin, it's a robot. However, in terms of, like, what's the best pumpkin, I would say that, you know, I think that it'd be better, you know, if it was something, if it was the best pumpkin. But to be fair, everybody else's pumpkin was boring as fuck. Right, so I do also gotta keep that in mind when discussing it. Yes, the other pumpkins were also extremely boring. But yeah, everybody else is up for elimination. The other 8 characters, which is interesting. Look, I mean, we gotta remember that like, it's 8 characters in spirit, because it's actually 7, right? Because 2 of them are constantly kind of paired. Like, you know, they're kind of like paired together. So that's like so it's really 7. So there's really 8 characters currently left. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to find out who gets eliminated. No, it's gotta be hard sign, unfortunately. Come on, hard sign. Psst, lock in. Convince the voters. Okay? Lock in. You alright? You locked in? Okay, good. Alright. We can now head also along into episode 27. We're getting there. Oh, we're getting there. Episode 27, Waterfalls ahead. Here we flipping go. The first ever BFMH non-competition episode is upon us, only at the 27th episode. So we end up having here an interesting episode. It's kind of interesting. It's a bit weird because it treats the waterfall as if it's kind of their pathway to the world. Right? Which, I mean, I guess it would be, right? Like, if you're in jail and then you see the waterfall, like, you can leave, right? Like, you can go different places. However, I think it's kind of interesting because, like, in the past few episodes, they were kind of treating the waterfall as the end all, like, oh, no, we can't get past this waterfall, right? Which, you know, ends up being a little bit, like, complicated. It's like, hold up, what? However, we end up having, the whole shebang with it. We end up having a mildly renewed intro with, of course, the fact that we don't properly have hosts. So yeah, in this episode. But yeah, the other fellas are chilling in the forest. They find the fucking master emerald in the forest, by the way. What is like what? That is so big. They try to get it. Fiery and Leafy in the meantime climb Mount Kirisame for no reason. They were just bored. So yeah, I guess those two are having some bonding time. You know, they were just being best buddies. No, yeah, best buds. No more, nothing more, just best buds. And then in the meantime, some other fellas find some other locations. Like Q ends up finding fucking Fumo Land. These other two end up finding the two musical sisters or whatever, end up finding a set of totem poles dancing in freaking Siberia or whatever. And then Teardrop and F end up just going into the real world, where they end up meeting a chicken who talks to them, and then they leave, and then that's about it. I don't really like. These are the type of scenes where, I mean, it's interesting because it's not something I've seen before to do. However, I'm not gonna 100%. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't know what the point of that is, but like at least it's something different, right? You know, so I don't mind. Like, I don't know why it's there, but I don't mind. It's interesting. And then apparently the door opened. The different door. This is the door that leads to the safety. So because for a minute, because this is the exact same door that got them out of jail. So I was just like, okay, well surely if that's the door to get out of jail, then that's just the door, right? You just go back. However, no. Apparently they get to escape. And then our new host ends up being there. Yeah, I mean, no, Peppa Pig and the other fellow are just stuck in jail. So everybody else is gone, escaped, out there, and now, you know, this host has to keep going, which, I mean, presumably it's gonna be a little bit complicated, because I mean that's like the student, right, the freaking USA flag girl, because apparently the other two were supposed to be the bigger girls, right? However, they end up one of them was an emotional wreck or whatever. They kind of ends up being, you know, it's starting to get a little bit complicated. You gotta get back in here. Otherwise, we're just gonna have the show. They can't all join the show. What if they all join? Oh my god. Imagine everybody joins the show and the show just like restarts from here. No, don't do that. No, please. Show us to end sometime. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to find out. But overall, do I think that this was a well executed non-competition episode? It was okay. I believe that for the standards that this series has, it was definitely okay. It did a bunch of varied enough things. I just don't know why it really did them, but at least it had a couple of varied plot points that it kind of flipped between, right? A couple of them were important, a couple of them weren't, right? A couple of them were side plots, you know. But yeah, overall, I would say solid. You know, strong stuff. All around here that this episode had to portray. Okay, it's now time for the latest episode 28. We're about to get to the modern times. Episode 28 of BFMH is titled Selling in a Restaurant. Let's go. Alright, and it's right here with episode 28 to BFMH, the latest one released 12 days ago, that we have the elimination of Heartsign, which means that non-humans have officially been eliminated. There are no more remaining. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. They were outnumbered to a point where, like, the fact that they were outnumbered was, like, made them to stand out. So it's like, oh, just get rid of them. They don't fit in, right? So, you know, I would say, you know, these last batch of them made a valiant effort, I would say, you know. They'll make a valiant effort. Heartsign, you know, worked hard. But yeah, so USA Flag Girl just decides to shove them all in a different jail, just like a musical box. Then we have the elimination where, but by the way, 201 and 46 votes. That's the most ever. No, it's not. By your dumb rules, you did get 400 votes one time. I mean, the 46, that might be the most ever. So I don't get it. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't know. Cause it's like, wait. It's like, it's 246. That's the most ever. So, like, the 46, yes, I don't remember it ever being that high. Then you do know how many votes you actually got, but you still decide to say you got 201 votes anyway. Whatever. But yes, the eliminated contestant ends up being Heartsign, and then we end up having ourselves the challenge, which is to serve food. If you serve food well, you will be safe. And then if you don't, you will be up for elimination. However, somehow, everybody delivers food well. Everybody does a good job. I'm not gonna lie. There's just a global success here from nearly everybody. I like how this girl ends up offering everybody free ice cream, and then she ends up getting a bucket load of cash. I'm sorry, was it free or not? I guess just the tips are crazy. But yes, they end up giving the fella some pumpkin. No, the talking pumpkin. Now they're giving them what they need. We confused water for soda. So true. Relatable. Do that all the time. And then the pumpkin did well. So Cerno gets an immunity token. Well, I don't unmute a token. But yeah, you get an immunity token, even though that just means you got immunity. But like, okay, yeah, I don't really know what these tokens are supposed to mean. Didn't somebody get a token like 12 episodes ago? Like, no, didn't somebody get a token like 20 episodes ago? Like, wasn't there like a sobriety? No, that's a different word. There was a token. There was definitely a token in this show that was given, and then there was just nothing else there. Like there was like something like that. You know? Something along those lines. But yeah, okay. That means that everybody else up for elimination because Cerno is safe. Who gets eliminated? I don't know. I feel like it's time for this duo to go. This duo is a bit confusing, but like I don't really. I mean, I could vote. I mean, I could just check. That's the thing. I can just go to the community tab and check the votes. You know, like who's voting against? Stay tuned. Like I'm not gonna do that because I don't care. However, like it's still a thing. And that is the current state of BFMH. What do I think of BFMH? I think that it's a show that suffers from a lot of the same problem. Like it's kind of a show that never tried to learn too much, right? So it kind of suffers from a bit of the same problems where it ends up mildly boring because it keeps itself on the same scenes for quite a while. It doesn't make a lot of sense. However, at least lately, from like I would say definitely from like episode I don't know, 18 onwards, I would say. Not even 18 onwards. I think, wait, what was episode 17? Was this the basketball? No, this is a joint challenge. Let's say from episode like 18 onwards, yeah. I would say that the challenges were nearly all pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. There was like the host one that was pretty bad. However, in general, I think that the challenges have been pretty solid. So, like, there was definitely an improvement in terms of challenges. However, like in general, it's still not perfect. But yeah, the absolute main suggestion is just don't if it's a non-talking scene, it doesn't need to be on screen for that long. And in general, try to think about the audio, because ever since I mentioned that the audio was really bad in that one episode, it has still kind of been a problem with the kind of like the that you can hear sometimes in terms of audio. Like, it's been there quite a bit. How it's less than that one episode. The one episode we're putting out was on max mode. However, it did chill itself out. However, like, I would still say that it's a thing. So try to do that. Of course, for tracks and songs, I'd recommend just downloading them instead of trying to record them. Same thing goes for whatever voice lines you have, right? It ends up higher quality. But other than that, that is all I can really say for BFMH. I like the commitment though. What I'm absolutely gonna give it. I commend the commitment. We're on episode 28 of this. That is commitment to the craft for over 2 years. And that I have to respect more than anything else. So good job on that one. Okay, I don't know what we're taking a look at next. But we're just going to do it. Alright, next up on the Keep Up pile, we'll be watching another show with 1 million episodes that I decided to store for this day. It is titled Object Nonchalant, yes, because Digital Clocks Media, the creator of a couple of series we watched, mainly Stillwater, however, also The Humbled and Reef Warriors, has done the 5th season of Object Nonchalant, has had some more episodes of it made, which means that, of course, we gotta talk about it. However, it has 5 seasons and over 30 total episodes, so we will be chatting about it. Starting off with episode 1, they're all really short, so we're just gonna pull it. Object Nonchalant 1, yummy. Alright, that is episode 1 of Object Nonchalant Season 1. I must admit, that is pretty interesting. It's got, it's like that voice on that host is proper deep, Like, if it wasn't just a terrifyingly bad mic quality, I feel like that effect would actually work very well. I feel like that effect has got some potential. Anyway, the contestants are Eraser, Fry, Mouth, Leg, Loop-de-Loop, The Big Rectangle, Power Button, Ow, Atom, Ruby, Pill, and Dotted Line, as well as the winner of the challenge, who is, like, just kind of like Face, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see who gets eliminated. We'll see what the hell is going on in the next episode, which is titled 1E plus 21. Alright, that is episode 2, so we discovered the name of our host, because it's impossible to really know. I thought it was like a boombox, but no, it's actually a circle plug, which, yes, now that I look at it, I guess that's fair. But yes, the eliminated contestant with 47,000 votes with 1E plus 21 votes ends up being like Pill or something. Not gonna lie, if I had a nickel for every time an episode in this Object Catchup video lied about how many votes it got, I'd have way too many. I have like all of the nickels in the world. Why are none of the shows I watched so they got real vote? Nah, bro, we gotta stop it. But yeah, okay, we end up having the challenge. What the fuck's the challenge? Oh yeah, to take a step. Leg tries to take a step, disintegrates instead, but then they still win. So, I mean, it's not like that exactly matters. And then that's the episode. Woo! Alright, time before episode 3, which is titled He Is Dead. It's one of the few that are over 1 minute, so let's go. Okay, that is episode 3 of Object Nonchalant. So, we end up having the elimination of the best character ever, with all of the screen time that we got to see with Atom, which is heartbreaking to see Atom get eliminated. It was one of the most heartbreaking things since the first thing. We got to hear a very somber speech about, how, like, I was as a bad Atom, and then I grew, and I became a strong Atom, and then I went from atom to atom or whatever, and then United States of America, and then power or whatever. I don't really know, but yeah, the challenge is to turn into an emoji version of yourself. Who invented this concept? Like, I swear, I've seen like multiple shows do this. I don't know if I can't remember if Reef Warriors is also a show that did this, but I swear there was like there was I think there were at least 2 shows that I watched where the challenge is to and then turn into the emoji. I don't know why. Who invented it? I need to know. I need to have a chat with the inventor of this system, because you have caused irreparable damage to creative challenge ideas in history. I'm not gonna lie, and I blame them entirely, because it's fully their fault. Episode 4 of Object Nonchalant. Screw you. Alright, that is episode 4. My favorite part about this is that it's probably, like, entirely not like that problematic. Like like the shouts are probably not that problematic. Like the screams, I'm telling you, these screams are probably like room temperature. They're probably like but then they're pitched up and boosted up and then everything, and then they just sound like haunting. Like or maybe we just know how to scream a lot, and in which case you must be really bored if we're making an object show entirely just to scream. Like how bored you gotta be? They made 5 seasons of. You gotta stop being bored. You gotta start being less bored, bro. Like what is this? How are we making this show? No, we gotta stop this. Okay, well that episode's already over. So episode 5, 6. Oh, okay. Alright, that is episode 5 of the Screaming Contest. So we have ourselves the eliminated contestant B-Pill with 37,005 and a half votes. So goodbye to the fella. To be fair, if you think about it, that just looks like eyeballs. Think about it, like eye, you know, the lines, the eye, and there's the eyelid. Yeah. So yeah, goodbye. Challenge is to become the number 6, and the Scribbly manages to twist themselves into the number 6. It hurts. At least this time, there is a lore explanation to why there's random shouting going on, right? Like, you know, there's an explanation happening, right? However, on average, I mean, I don't I don't know if I'm still too convinced about this one. Episode 6 is titled 5. No, I'm kidding. Object Nonchalant 6 is titled Screwed Up. Okay. I need to watch the 5 seasons of this. It is so over for the me economy. So the circle plug accidentally said we were at the final 6 instead of the final 9. They flipped the number. Oh no. But yes, that means that they leave in shame after getting shamed. And then the 3 contestants that were not included as part of the final 6 but were in the final 9 then become de facto hosts after circle plug leaves. Challenge jump off a 60-foot cliff. I wonder where that challenge idea is from. That's completely original. I've never heard of that. And then we end up having the eliminated contestant Beleg with I don't know, they were just eliminated. And then we end up having the power button end up jumping off. At least, look, this episode did do a pretty good job when it involves giving the characters that hadn't spoken yet some screen time. So that means that technically, in the grand scheme of things, we have had everybody get screen time. They got about 4 milliseconds of screen time each. However, screen time is screen time, and you are gonna like it, okay? Alright. But yes, good job, power button, on freaking jumping off a cliff. The other 4, how many people remain? An amount of people remain. Episode 7 of Object Nonchalant is titled Sleepy Time. It's 18 minutes long, however, I'm kind of doubting that it's actually 18 minutes long. Let's see. Okay, that is Object Nonchalant 7 Sleepy Time. So, okay, as it goes with videos, I usually try to talk about them for the length of the video, right? That's usually what I try to talk, because I think that's enough time where it's like, you know, it gives me enough time to make a relatively observant discussion, right? Well, not over-exaggerating, you know. I'll go longer on like certain episodes that I believe is especially important to talk about, right? However, on average, yeah. However, I mean, I'm not going to do that here because there's not 18 minutes of content in this episode. I'm going to talk about it for a little bit longer than a minute, right? Like how I usually do. However, like on average, I'm still probably going to, it's not going to get to 18 minutes. So we have ourselves here the next challenge of Object Nonchalant. So Ruby gets eliminated with, I don't know, an amount of votes. Goodbye. And then they end up dipping. And then the challenge is to put the host to sleep. How do you put the host to sleep? By singing, I guess, nursery rhymes, right? I mean, they don't sing the best nursery rhymes ever. Yeah, they do a couple of attempts at singing. I mean, like, go to sleep, but it doesn't work. Yeah, and then they end up singing an ensemble together instead. And then this ensemble ends up actually working. So they end up going to sleep at that ensemble. It's not an amazing ensemble, but like, it somehow works. They go to sleep. So then they're just sleeping. Then we get to see this one shot, this one image of the 3 hosts, which is our face, the freaking squiggly, the loop-de-loop, or whatever you're called. And then you were called like, what were you called? Were you called like loop-de-loo? Loop-de-loo. Loop-de-loo. You called something. And then the line, who is just kind of sleeping. So yeah, those three are sleeping, and then we end up having this shot pretty constantly of our characters sleeping. So as soon as this shot starts, there is only one other shot in the entire rest of the event. There's only one other frame that shows up, as far as I'm aware. Which is the ending of the voting screen, so you're not gonna get to see that. But yeah, I mean, basically I had the video on, but I kind of had it on on a picture-in-picture, and then I was kind of just scrolling, I was checking up on a couple of things while I was like chatting and shit, scrolling Twitter's chats, and while doing that, I had the video on the side. So if there was any super fast visual gag, I wouldn't have spotted it. However, I didn't notice any. So yeah. The video is completely silent for about 8 minutes after it starts, and then at around the 8:20 mark, a sort of jazzy music starts, like a jazz music starts, and starts going beep beep beep. It was relatively relaxing, it gave a relatively chill experience of scrolling the Discord channels that I hadn't checked in a while for the last 10 minutes of the video. It was truly commendable moment. I'm glad that at least I had to listen to some pleasant audio, right, and not some unpleasant audio instead. Imagine they were just snoring the entire time, and I just had to listen to 17 minutes of snoring. That would have been pretty painful, right? But yeah, thankfully we didn't need to do that, and we were all good, which is nice. So we end up having ourselves, these fellas, they go to sleep, and then at the end of it, wait, who's up for Elam? Actually, that's a good question, because I don't know who debatably wins the challenge. Because technically, it was an ensemble, multiple people did it. Erase the power button and mouth. Why is it power button and mouth? But I thought mouth and the big rectangle were singing, or was it only the rectangle? I don't know. I don't know if that's perfectly correct, but either way, do I really care that much about who is up for elimination in this show when characters get eliminated based on pure vibes alone? No, not really. So yeah, okay. I'm not going to talk about this for 18 minutes. The jazz music was pretty interesting. The final detail that I guess I'm going to point out on it is that the jazz doesn't end. It just kind of keeps going infinitely for the entire stretch of time. And even when the video cuts off, when the video ends, the jazz music is still playing right away. It doesn't have a dynamic end. I honestly expected it to. I expected it to have a dynamic end. It doesn't. It doesn't have a dynamic end. But yeah. Okay, I think that's enough. You know what this is. You know what this is. Episode 8 of Object Nonchalant is titled Water. Go. Alright, that is episode 8. I'm really trying to remember what the hell that outro music is. That reminds me of something. It's like the ending theme of some cartoon. There's a cartoon. I don't know. God. I know it's something, I reckon. I recognize that theme. It's really hard to catch it, but it's something. Anyways, yeah, so they wake up and they do the elimination. Power button gets eliminated for the first time in human history. A character gets eliminated for the consequences of their actions. I know, right? It's actually crazy. It's actually never happened before in Object Nonchalant. But yes, then the challenge is to drink 3 water bottles. We actually have a pretty cohesive plotline for this episode. So the big rectangle and the eraser are like, oh no, I'm gonna drink it because I'm just so good. And it's like, no, I'm so good. And then they have an epic battle, right? They have a pow. They have an argument. In the meantime, Mouth, which I feel like, yes, would be probably the best candidate to chug water bottles because they are a mouth that's what they do. They drink and eat, that's what they do that. Ends up drinking them while the others were busy fighting. So good job, Mouth. To be fair, that was pretty smart. Good job. And that means that everybody else is up for elimination. Eraser or a big rectangle. This name gets chopped off half the time. I don't know why. But yeah, alright, not many episodes are left of Season 1 at the very least. Object Nonchalant 9, Flip Off. I'm a big fan of the directness in this episode. It's like, hey, the viewers are supposed to vote for a contestant to win, so do that. Man, that video just yes, be fair. I mean, we don't need to know anything else. That is true. Yes, okay, yeah, I don't need to know anything else. You know what, fair. Fair enough. Yeah, okay, perfectly reasonable. Eraser gets flipped off because somebody in the comments told them to do that, and then they get eliminated. But you see what I mean with the microphone? It's you'll notice, it's that's just a breath. A breath isn't that loud. Look, try breathing. Yeah, it's not that loud, but like you see, it's so close to the microphone that it sounds like the world is shaking, right? But yeah, so I don't think any of the shouts and stuff are actually that loud. I think they're mimicked. Okay, finale of Object Nonchalant Season 1. Grave Jr. is love. Grave Jr. is life. Okay, that is one of the greatest finales in human history. So we end up having a regular finale that the host with their knowledge and mouth wins tentatively. With it, we even get color for the first time in Object Nonchalant. However, we then end up having our previous host, Circle Plug, come back at the last minute. The other hosts run away, and then the host ends up, and then, Circle Plug ends up finding the votes and goes like, yo, hold up, there's a lot of votes here for Grave Jr. And it's like, well, I mean, the other hosts would know it's invalid because they didn't do anything. However, if you think about it, Circle Plug would have no idea that this isn't like some rejoin or some debutante that those other ones invented, right? So, like, technically, for Circle Plug, it's very possible that this is a real contestant. So then they end up deciding that that freaking Grave Jr. wins the show. So there's actually two winners. The old host thinks that Grave Jr. is a debutante and gets them to win, and in the meantime, the regular host got mouth to win, as is true, which I think is really interesting. I like what I like what just happened there. I think it's interesting. Okay, Object Nonchalant 2 is a really fast season. Oh my god, that takes like these videos are super short. Jumping Class Episode 1. Nonchalant 2 jumping class challenge jumps person jumped it shapes then that's it go episode 2 go. Episode 2 a starship gets eliminated because they feel like the challenge is and then some people apparently do it. I don't know, because some people are for elimination, the others aren't. Maybe there's an Adam. Is that an Adam? I don't know who's in the show. Who the fuck is in the show? I don't know, but I'm wait 9 seconds already passed. Depression go. Okay, that is episode 3, Depression. So we end up having Depression on the host, and then they get the gun because that's the challenge. So then they're safe. However, they also die because of course that's what they were gonna use the gun for. But yeah, it's at this moment that we solemnly the host who is gone. Who's that one character in the bottle, and Square is dead. Yay. Okay, episode 4, Allegations. Alright, everybody is sad and upset because the Triangle technically did assisted suicide, because like they helped, they gave the gun. Or you could say, oh no, they didn't do anything. Well, yes, they didn't do anything. However, also you gotta clock some things in your dumbass brain, Triangle. Also, why does the Triangle have like a freaking like burn mark on it? What is that? I don't know. There's just a line now on it. I mean, more design, I guess, is better, but that wasn't there before. The Atom gets eliminated, and goodbye, Atom. I like how this implies that there are just no other Atoms in the unit. Like, that's the only Atom that's there. Like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, so it's a vote to win. Triangle or Circle? Well, is the best shape, but Circle theoretically should win. However, it's Object Nonchalant too. Like, do you think I know? Final episode is titled Run Off into the Sunset. Alright, let's do that. Alright, Circle wins on the pre-planned show, which is a thing I've noticed that Digital Clock Media does quite a bit. I don't know why. We're a big fan of just pre-making a shit ton of episodes and dropping them on the same day. When I mean, like, that's okay, but like, you're not really building hype, you're not being capable of responding to feedback, you're not just going to be capable of doing many things. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's the most satisfying thing you could be doing, personally. Like, like you could make episodes while, getting the feedback and be able to improve on it and actually getting more people, instead of making them day by day, where then who's there sees it and who doesn't care because there's nothing else to it, right? So, yeah. Circle wins. Their prize is that they get to think that they can run a marathon. They run a marathon. I don't know. They run from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen, and then they end up being tired. So, yeah. Object Nonchalant 3 is titled Hi Guys. No, that's the first episode of Season 3, sorry. Hi Guys, go. 5th season challenge is to lie. Somebody will love you. Haha. The host, who the fuck are you? Shirt tag, tape, the big triangle, quarter button, liney, ice cream, and that's the cast. Okay, well, my time is up, so next episode. I am gonna find whoever invented the challenge, turn into the emoji version of itself and be like, oh, it's easy. I'm gonna find that person, okay? I'm gonna find that person. You know what I'm gonna do? Honestly, I go back to the time and remove the Thanksgiving turkey off the menu. Okay, next episode. Alright, it's a musical episode, so I have to sing the entire script of it. This is the musical episode. Get out of my shoulder, challenge is to base. Go. Alright, there we go. That was the musical. Button wins at a race. It was just a race, and then some fellas fell behind, and the other ones didn't. It was epic. Episode 4, H2O. Didn't an episode of Stillwater have a H2O or go? You know, the H2O song. I feel like it did. I feel like there might be, you know, between these shows, I'm starting to spot some similar interests. Find something else to write about. I'm being mean. But yes. Who the fuck's up for them? The button and the nail. Okay. 43,000 something. Go. It's the episode. Button gets eliminated with the vote, and then we end up having they decide the winner as well because they're depressed or whatever. Which ends up being the nail, and the nail goes ha on your face, but then immediately apologizes though. So you know, there's some niceness there. There's some niceness. And yeah, that is season 3. We can't really discuss it as a whole because you have to jump into season 4 immediately, which is titled On 4. Episode 1 is titled It's and in the you end up having Forehead be the host. They lick the pizza, I think. Dunkin', I don't know, just called Dunkin'. Oh, you're a Dunkin' Donut. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And they win, which means because they taste the best and everybody else is up for elimination. Episode 2, good. Okay, one thing I do have to say about these episodes is that I do like how nearly all of them have a character talking at the end screen about what just happened. I think it's fun. It's fun, and I think that some shows should consider doing that for real, like real shows. I think that's cool. Okay, that's all. Episode 3, colon D. Alright, it's episode 3. I have to rush. I have to go super fast. So in this episode, the Forehead ends up kicking out the character in the same way that they kicked out the character in the other time, because that makes sense, right? Like that would, that would do that, especially when you make the episodes all in one day. You're gonna just do the same thing. You might reuse it, save some time. And the challenge is to take your time. Take the time. Take it now. Okay, the character sits there, does nothing for a little while, and then eventually they smile and make a surprisingly cheerful sound. It was like a fucking mouse squeal. It was like, that's like the best way I can possibly describe the sound that I just heard. And then there we go. That is episode 3. Wasn't that just such an exhilarating description of the episode? Okay, episode 4. I don't care anymore, bro. Obviously, you made this in 3 seconds. Alright, if there's one thing that colon 3 from ON and Palmy from BFDI Mini have in common is that they both get surprising amounts of love for only being, because it's colon 3. It is a surprisingly effective method to make a character likable in an object show. More people should try it. Anyways, at the end we have the final sentence that why do we keep getting new seasons? Well, it's because Digital Clocks is, I don't know. Well, look, all I'm saying is that the name of the channel is Digital Clocks Media. So I think that Digital Clocks is media. Oh my god, Game Theory. Matt Pat 2 on the block right here. Okay, let's go into Nonchalant, Object Nonchalant Season 5, Episode 1, which is titled Tags to Boost the Video into the Algorithm. Oh my god, they got intros. Oh my, they got color. I feel like the British people when they first saw the television with color. Whoa, this is mind blowing. Okay, I'm doing a shit ton of sarcasm. Anyways, we have our contestant, the French cry, the grave star, I guess, the circle, the big triangle. It's kind of weird because these are the same characters from other seasons, but they look weird now because like they have colors, so they just look like different people. Anyways, the challenge is the shirt has a tag on it. Cut the tag. The red circle cuts the tag, and then of course the host and the circle go over and they make out. Again, this is a theme that I have noticed with multiple Digital Clocks Media joke shows. Why are you so into this? Do you need help? Do you need help? Are you lonely? Do you need a therapist? Come on, really, be honest with me here, like real talk. Okay, nah, I'm joking, whatever, fuck off. Episode 2, you're not alone. Alright, that is episode 2. We start off with these two still making out. I mean, if they took the entire time off screen to do that, I mean, like, they got some stamina. I gotta respect it. But yeah, so we have ourselves the intro. By the way, I haven't actually mentioned this. I don't know if this intro is, like, traced from anything. However, I will say that the flip and spin that this pinpoint does, heading into the logo showcase, like, that's actually sick. That's sick as fuck. But yeah, so everybody jumps off the cliff after Grave gets eliminated. Everybody jumps off the cliff because that's the challenge. However, everybody dies. Let's hope. What the hell's gonna happen? I don't know. Do we have recovery centers in Object Nonchalant tool? I don't know. But yeah, apparently we needed the big ass triangle for a challenge in the future, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna be here. All right. Well, the episode's about to just get a little bit longer. Episode 3, totally normal and upbeat episode. Alright, somehow it took 5 seasons and 26 filler episodes for us to get to one episode where we were like, I'm bored, let me try actually making an episode with a plot line, which this ends up being. So we end up having the challenge to get on top of the big-ass triangle. Presumably the big-ass triangle itself is excused, right? Because, I mean, you can't climb it yourself, but you are yourself, so you are the top of yourself, so you are there, right? Does that make sense? So, like, I think that's fair. But yeah, so the challenge is to fly up there. The star does, the fry and the ice cream do together. And then in the meantime, the circle can't. The host tries to help him, but they can't really. And then Ansem was like, well, I don't really care about it, so come on. And then Colon 3 comes in and locks in with the strategy. He's like, yo, we could do some major trolling right now by eliminating the host's loved one. And it's like, okay, oh yeah, sign me up. So yes, they both get up, and that means that the circle gets eliminated, and then they get shot. Then we have a super sad emotional scene with the blood perfectly somehow making a face on the freaking on the splatter. But yeah, it was truly emotional. Guide Dog by Quebec is playing in the background. A shout out to Quebec for inventing good music. Yeah, no, Quebec does actually make it good stuff though. I think that it's interesting how, like, it's like Guide Dog. I feel like it's not that sad of a song. However, like it kind of fits into the context surprisingly well, I would say. Like I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, Love Story is officially over. We dared to have an arc in Object Nonchalant. How could we dare have an arc in Object Nonchalant? If we have an arc in Object Nonchalant, that's like the same thing as it just being a show. This can't be a show. It has to be a meme made in 3 seconds. This is protesting outside the streets, worthy. Alright, episode 4. What's brown and sticky? Episode. Yay. To be fair, I will say, big fan of intro that changes up depending on the current state of the show. Gotta be one of my favorite things, absolutely. So like seeing a circle, kind of like seeing I'm calling you like what? Oh, hold on. What is the host? You're like the thing that you pinpoint, like a pinpoint, right? Like on the map, right? You do like you put the pin on the yes, right? That's what that is. Okay, but like seeing them kind of like distraught and then later look at that, like yes, I like that. That's cool. But yeah, somebody needs to confiscate their gun ASAP because they keep shooting people. They shoot the star because no flying is allowed. Apparently, I mean, like, I'm sorry. How the hell is flying gonna help you get a stick in the ground? Like, okay, yes, I can fly there. Whatever you can. Like, what? Like it's it's still on the ground anyway. You might as well walk. You're gonna take a sprint. Like it doesn't really matter. But yes, the epic duo of friends, Fry and Ice Cream, and they're getting it together. Ice Cream decides to betray the Fry at the very end by taking the sticks themselves, and they're safe, which means that everybody else is up for elimination. Well, it is time for episode 5, which is titled "Boost to Tag This Video." Boost to tag this video into the algorithm. Okay, this show's going insane. Alright, let's go. You know what? This video is really interesting. This video has such an uncanny valley feel to it when you watch this show. It's kind of like when, like imagine like T-Pop. Like, you know how the T-Pop 20 airings happened, right? And then immediately after that episode aired, they played BFDI 1A. on the screen. It's like that feels weird because it's kind of awkward knowing the context of what happens right now, because it's like there's a thing where like pens are supposed to be there, right? So it's kind of awkward. So like this has a very similar vibe where it's like it's just awkward to look at this right now because it's like it's the exact same episode. Like we're all fine, everything's okay. We'll cut the challenge, it happens normally, and it's like the only thing that changes is that the circle's not really there. Everybody else is there. Like it's really interesting. Circle's up for Elam as well. What? Oh. Wait. Hold on. This is whack. Yo, hold up. I'm massively into this. Like alternate timeline shenanigan that's just been opened up. Yo, hold up. This is like some analog horror bullshit. Yo, hold up. This is interesting. Okay, let's just go to the next episode. Alone You're Not. What the fuck's happening here? Man, this is weird. Whoa, what is happening here? It's so, you know what? For once, this show is being so nonchalant. the show is being nonchalant right now. It's just casually reset itself to the beginning. It's just done a reset. Except Circle's not there. They're in the voting screen and they're in the intro, but they don't appear. They're not there. Like this is the same thing, the same events in the exact same way, but they're not there. So like the only things that change is the scenes within it. So like the episode starts like you see the episode You're Not Alone. It's 44 seconds because there's the 3 additional seconds at the beginning of the two people of them kissing, right? But then in this it doesn't, so it just keeps that. It's the same thing. But like yo, okay. If this show lets me down, okay? If this show lets me down in totally upbeat and normal episode, if this is not about to be the coolest shit ever, okay, I'm out of riot. Because this is gold. Okay, this is gold. Object Nonchalant, out of all shows, has just struck it on the absolute most golden idea. Okay? I'm hooked right now. Okay, this is super interesting. Please, don't fuck this up. Episode 7. Here we go. Alright, that is episode 7. Okay, so, I mean, how does it deal with the normal idea? Okay, well, it just kind of deals with the normal idea by doing it. It doesn't actually try too much. It kind of just ends up having the episode play out how it probably would if Circle was not related to the host in any type of capacity, right? Or like they kind of fail, but then it equals 3. It's like they don't have a reason to get Circle out, and or 27 later, or whatever the hell they're called, end up like you're calling ampersand, but you know, but yeah, they end up getting eliminated because they didn't care, right? Remember they didn't care and they didn't want to do the challenge, so yeah, they get eliminated in this case. And I think the big triangle also gets eliminated, so that's interesting because in the other timeline, I guess I have to say fucking timeline. In the other timeline, they don't get eliminated, but in this one they do, which I think is really interesting. However, yeah, I mean, like it doesn't do much with the idea. I think that there's a lot of interesting possibilities with it, you know, like I don't really know, but it's just like it's such a spot, you know, where it's like we know what happens in this timeline, and it's just taking this reset at episode 5 because it's 5, so it's just done this reset, and it's like, yo, I mean, like, what has happened, right? Like it absolutely could have, this show could have like corrupted the fuck out or something, and then like done it. Like genuinely, here's the deal, I'm not one for horror, okay, but if this show just locked in and randomly decided to go analog horror style, like a proper full glitch out, like what the fuck's going on, right? Like slowly get more corrupted or something, like just proper full leaning into the cheesiness of what the hell this could possibly entail, I would have said sure. I would have honestly allowed it, because it, like, no, genuinely, this idea that it does of just having like a proper a nearly unrecoverable situation, everybody's miserable, multiple people are dead, everything's fucked, right? like, and then just randomly, because we've hit the 5, and like the 5 resets the show because it's the final episode usually, right? And it's season 5. Like, that is super interesting, you know? Like, it stumbled upon a super cool idea, like, just immense, like, wow, you know? Like, yeah, like, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. Yeah, overall, this Object Nonchalant, a show made by somebody who was bored when they were making the show, which, you know, sometimes some things in it are cool, some things in it are mildly less interesting. However, yeah, that ends up being Object Nonchalant as a whole with its whole 31 episodes. Look at how big the timestamps down there are. Holy. Okay, I mean, I can take a look at something else, I guess. I think. Can I? I don't know. I'll go check. Well, you might see something else in this video. Next up, another quick episode 1 from lately. It is by Noobi, or just Noobi, who has uploaded episode 1 of a different show called BAGEL BATTLE, okay? This episode is titled Another Super Show, so it garnered 2.7 thousand views. I have no idea what it is. All I know is that we shall go see what this minute is on about. Alright, we've got ourselves another Noobi show, the second one that I've actually ever seen. It's another Object Full inspired thing, just like Object Object was. However, this kind of differs itself in an interesting way. Simply because it's kind of higher quality. It does things in a different way. You'll notice how this environment goes, where, like, it's shadowed. Like, look at this back. Like, you see, I don't know how to best describe what this is, but it's like we're looking at everything at a slant, you know? Which, however, does give this kind of high-quality glow to a lot of it. Like, especially this computer lady thing, okay? Did you see this? This looks very high quality. I'm just going, no, I lie. We have some glitchy fellas, and in fact, what are our contestants? Our contestants are Cracker, Superman, haha, cause soup, Armsman, Glassy, Winter Mug, the green one, then my new OC, interesting, Letter, Laptop, Zippy, and Toaster. So those are the characters. In general, the challenge is to murder the Winter Mug, and a character does. However, I do actually like it. I think that the setting is quite pretty. I think that the contestants, I actually like this set. You know, they seem to have relatively different possible, the ways they think of things. You know, I think it's a pretty well laid out cast. I think that having a dookie host is crazy. However, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where a lot of those things don't matter when it's an Object Full style show, because in an Object Full style show, there's just going to be one gag that's the challenge, and like only one character is going to appear. So it's kind of like what the cast truly is for these shows kind of doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but overall, I mean, it was cool. I like the voting screen. I like the tracks. The intro is cool. The characters cool. Everything's cool. Everything about it is cool. I'm just gonna say it. Cool. Approval rating. Okay, I approve of what this is doing. But yeah, the only thing is that, you know, it's an Object Full, so I can't expect too much from it, unfortunately. But yeah. Alright, that is all I can really say about BAGEL Battle. I don't know. I have no idea how many more sections there are to this video. There's going to be at least one, maybe. It's because it'd be... whatever's next. Alright, next up, nicoguyy is back with another series that we must chatter about. Because, we will be discussing Object Forgots, which I'm gonna be honest, no idea what it is. However, all I know is that, you know, we're gonna watch it and we're gonna find out what it is together. Yes, I know, right? Super epic. But yeah, so yeah, let's watch this. 3 minutes long. Here we goes. Alright, that is episode 1 of Object Forgots. You know, I think one thing that I have been, they do find quite funny with this is that even like sometimes creators who, you know, like have made bigger shows, even when we're trying to make a small show, even when we're trying to make an Object Full, it still ends up too long. like at the end of the day, like this, as far as Object Full style shit to go, this is very much so just like more complex than the law, right? But yeah, we end up having some interesting things. So our host, Big Dot, ends up hosting a competition with 7 people on it. A doll. Wait, how many people? Wait, 36? Yeah, 7. So there's a circle. There's a better name than that. I feel that's like the Lahim logo. There's the candy bar, there's a dollar, there's a mini dollar, there is a bucket, there is a button. So those are the and there's also TV. So there's 8 contestants. Yeah. So they make 2 teams of 3 and 1 team of 8. No, and 1 team of 2. Yeah. So yeah, we end up having our intro, very much so the same style as all the other intros. And then we end up having ourselves. Look, apologies. We're nonchalant, and with this, and then with the last thing, I've dealt with a lot of food today. Okay. But yeah, so Team KFC, Team Scribble, and then Team Orange. So the challenge is to jump. Theoretically, the type of challenge that does it. And see, the difference is, okay, you want to hear the difference, okay? Is that, like, for example, in a show like how the last one by Noobi did it, okay? This would be a challenge. However, the challenge would be jump. Somebody would jump, and then that's it. That would be the video. That would be like, oh, the person jumped, everybody else up for Elam, right? That would be what that show would do. However, this show, because it wants to at least try to have something happen, right? What does it do? It does the opposite way around, where it's the last people to jump, right? The people that don't jump, they get up for Elam, right? Like the 3, which means that everybody else has to jump. So we have to see the process of how the people who jumped and how the people who didn't jump, right? Like there's way more there's way more to see. Right. In general, I think that the environment is actually pretty solid. It ends up looking pretty similar to Dot as a whole, especially like those trees. So actually enjoy it. But yeah, we end up having a couple of tactics. The circle ends up getting, like, I guess, possessed by the better name than that, by the question marky thingy. And then it ends up successfully convincing a bucket and that team that they shouldn't jump. So yeah, they don't jump, and you see TV did jump, although technically they didn't jump because they don't have legs. A dollar managed to jump and then flew very fast. How windy is the area? I mean, I understand that if a dollar jump's gonna get whooshed by the wind, but not that much. Where is it going? It went so all the way to Minnesota. Like, what is? Like, oh my god. Okay. And yeah, the button ends up doing it, and the button's apparently about to die. So yeah, they end up doing that. I like it, but hey, I do enjoy the fact that at least we got the reasoning at the top left to why TV didn't have legs, so it can't jump. Okay, that's fair. No, I got the reasoning. And I understand it. Although I see TVB is like, okay, circle TVB and bucket. Okay. It's like almost alphabetical orders. That's why I was confused. But yeah, overall, I mean, this series is interesting. Apparently there's a thing called Banter Battle that's coming in February. It's interesting as it goes, however, with a lot of this stuff though. I think that it's always a little bit dangerous, you know, as a creator to start these, especially when they get views and stuff, because like, you know, like you're just adding something to your ecosystem. You know, like you don't want to add too much to your ecosystem because, like, yes, you could just cancel something. However, yeah, you can cancel something. However, it's like at the end of the day, you still want to be capable of, you know, supporting your ecosystem. You don't want to become, that guy who cancels shows, right? Like, so that means that, like, when you start a show, I feel like there has to be kind of that, at least that want of commitment to at least think about it. And it's like when like here Nico, you know, adding this show that officially adds a like a third show onto the schedule, right? A third show on the schedule, and not a fourth, right? Because there's another one cut that I didn't watch because BOTC, right? So like it ends up that we end up just kind of overall increasing the total amount of projects that we have, which means that overall less of them are going to get done. I understand that like the main project is still getting work done. However, like in general, I think that adding too many side projects, even though it can be fun, it eventually can lead people to get disappointed, right? Because it's like, do I trust that this show's going to finish? I mean, considering how ONA is going and how other things are going, I now trust that neither of them are probably going to get done because we're just busy, right? Because we're just busy by one each other. They eat up each other's time until there's no time left, right? It's like until the plates are done. So yeah, it's a bit of the unfortunate truth about this stuff, you know. Same thing goes with what I would say about Magic 8, you know, but we'll get more to that when we actually discuss Fiverr, which is not today. Okay, again, don't know if there's another session. We'll see. Alright, the last two quick things. The first one is by MiniBoi, creator of Fight for Rupees, a couple of days ago after the release of A$AP Rocky's surprise new album, the A$AP Rocky Object Show 1 released. Don't be dumb. I guess I have no idea what A$AP Rocky's doing. However, we'll find out how the show is. Alright, that is episode 1 of the A$AP Rocky Object Show. So a bunch of A$AP Rocky albums are competing, hosted by Don't Be Dumb, which is presumably another album. Who hosts the show. Currently there is 6 of them currently challenging for the prize. Challenge to Not Be Dumb. Somebody says, oh, SpongeBob did 9/11, and everybody doesn't believe it, but then the host believes it, so that means everybody else is dumb. So you see, it's a reverse psychology. And then you end up with that everybody else is up for elimination. You know, I do think that this is kind of interesting because it's like you never know when another episode of this is gonna drop. And the thing about it is that every single time, right, you can make it so, for example, if A$AP Rocky drops a new song, right, drops a new album, whatever, you can make that new episode is gonna be based on that album. Right, it can be based on that drop, on that song, on that whatever. It says in the next episode, whenever Rocky drops a new album, I would personally change it to just song, okay? Because I think that a new album, you know, usually, I mean, I don't know how much A$AP Rocky, I don't know how often A$AP Rocky publishes albums. However, like, in general, I would say, 2013, 2015, 2018, 2026, yeah, like, you see, it's kind of like, you gotta give it a little bit, You gotta get some more leeway, you know, because it's a bit too much stuff. It's a bit too much time, right, to be realistic. But I think that this could be a relatively realistic and fun idea, right, to kind of challenge yourself, like, oh, A$AP Rocky dropped a new song called this. Let's make a challenge based on this name, right? So yeah, I would just change it to any song that A$AP Rocky ends up in can constitute a new episode of the A$AP Rocky yearly object show. Other than that, I think it's solid. It's a solid idea. It's kind of fun, right? Because, like, for example, I don't know, like, what was Bro's latest release? Freaking as lead artist single. What was the latest single? Pray for the Gang. That's 2025. You see, from a non-album single. So you see, for example, maybe the challenge would be to pray to their gang. I don't know. You see what I mean? Like, you gotta kind of think about it in that perspective, right? And then for the future, you can do that. Like, I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting idea. I kind of vibe. But yeah, okay. That's all. Last thing. Alright, and the final thing, you know, the strawberry on top of the cake, and the cherry on top, is, we're going to take a look at one Slinky Box, because 5 days ago, Slinky Box dropped a thing titled OCIDK, Elsewhere on Earth, presumably. I mean, the thumbnail is very much so, inspired by BFDIE, and I think probably the show itself as a whole is. It's 2 minutes long. I don't really know what it is, if it's a show, it's a meme, it's a shitpost, I don't know. I'm just going to look at it and see, and find out the hard way. Let's see, let's go. Alright, that is OCIDK 1, a little bit of a thing that's made. I don't believe that this is canonical to Object Cringe. However, let's say that it is. So, where would this be taking place in the Object Cringe timeline? So, if you remember, currently in Object Cringe, as far as I'm aware, Feather Duster, or whoever that is not here. Alright, they're not there. They dipped off to the tree, because remember, they were like, go away. So then she just walked off, because she's got a brain cell count about as high as the total amount of A$AP Rocky album. Now, so, like, we end up, there. She apparently walks over into the nothing, into the white dimension. There's a couple of other people there. There's a very, very tall ruler lady who's a super, you know, well spoken, and yeah, it's kind of well spoken. So Feather Duster thinks that she's a dictator because he said she's a ruler, which Feather Duster, you know what? Never change. You're fun. You're a fun one, okay? And like sometimes I kind of just hilarious. There's like stupid, like it's just like, you know what? Sure, keep doing you. You know you and me, alright? You keep doing. You have my seal of approval. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of other characters. There's a turtle shell. There's a coffin. A coffin was part of the coffin dance in Object Cringe. I don't know if this is the coffin, of course, but yeah, they kind of exist. And then there's also Kiwi, who's Kiwi. I think this is a. I swear there was a character that was similar to a Kiwi. Was there a Kiwi in the Object Crunch again? I don't think there was. Wait, was there? Whoa. I don't remember. Was it? Do you remember? No, I don't think that. I don't remember one. Not one that looks like that. Anyways, yes. Then Planky Speakerbox starts hosting the show. There's also Chair. Chair proceeds to get eliminated for shouting at Planky Speakerbox. All I've done is hurt me since the beginning of the show. I mean, I guess by being bored. The challenge is how do you find out why Chair was eliminated? Ruler was like, well, you see, it was because you couldn't exercise kindness and compassion. Ruler, you are too swag for this. Look at your side. Look at how tall you are. This is a goofy character. I kind of like it. I'm not 100% sure how Moppy would feel about this. However, in general, he's a cool character. But yes, they end up winning the challenge. You know what? I am gonna be 100% honest. Like, I did definitely laugh at the switch up from Kiwi being like, Kiwi, you did the lead. Oh, Green Shell, you did the lead. It's like, wait, bro, like they both did the same amount of nothing as the other one. But yes, and then apparently you have to vote as well. These other three people. I don't know why. I mean, one person. Okay, Ruler wins the challenge. The third show gets eliminated, and then these three are still here. So I mean, I'm presuming that it's just a vote to eliminate. But like, I don't. That's not. You're not supposed to do that. It's a BFDA, and I understand. It might be difficult, but you're not supposed to do vote. Like the FDIE does a voting every episode, but that's for favorite characters, that includes the eliminated characters, the characters that are alive, and the characters, the characters. Right? Like it's not. Like. But, yeah. Overall, that is OCIDK. I mean, look, I believe that if we're actually taking the excuse of Feather Duster went deep into the forest, and then while she was there, she ends up walking over to here, and then while there, she competes in this show, and then when it's done, she comes back to Object Cringe. I do believe that would be very good integration, and I do think that it should do that immediately. I would like that, because it would also very, very much so fit with the same thing the BFDA does. BFDA does the same thing, and also apparently dipped off in the middle of BFDI in a spaceship, whatever, and did this mini show, right? In the same way how this could happen if there's like a thing. So I think that I like it. I like the possibility. I like the possibility of this being a thing. Absolutely, for sure. However, yeah. Okay, I think that's all I can really say about OCIDK. Feather Duster thing, keep being you. This show, I mean, I guess it can exist. Why not, I guess. Yeah. Let's do ourselves an outro. Alright, and that will be all for today's episode of Object Catchup. So, I mean, if you consider the Battle for Magical Hotel and Object Nonchalant, both of them equal 59, I believe, total episodes, or like 57 total videos watched. So then we end up with over 60 in the grand scheme of things, which is a lot. It is a lot of things that we just discussed in today's episode. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much I can say other than holy shit. But hey, we getting it done. We hopefully, this can at least make up a little bit for all the problems that were there before. But like all the problems like missed a day, other day, drummer video that you should still watch, and all that stuff, right? Like everything. And yeah, 4 of the shows that we watched it, which is a lot of them. We are currently all caught up. See you next time. Ciao.